Let's cross now for the football.
I got a footy game to go to. Footy's on, footy's here again. Back to greet me like an old friend. And well, that's the thing about, that's what I like about. Yeah, that's the thing about football.
94.7 The Pulse. Across Geelong, the Surf Coast and Bellarine Peninsula, welcome to the match of the day, broadcast on The Pulse. Now, here to bring all the action to your radio, our team on 94.7 The Pulse.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a sun-drenched Keith Barclay Oval at North Geelong for our GDFNL match of the day. The top of the ladder, North Geelong taking on the visiting Werribee Centrals, and joining me in commentary, Dale Smith, former Geelong champion. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, mate. Nice to be back in the box. I know where I would have preferred to be last week too, but unfortunately that didn't eventuate. But yeah, back again today and looking forward to hopefully a good game of football. Obviously, Werribee nicely placed themselves, getting themselves into the four last week with a pretty good performance over Bannockburn, and North Geelong have done not too much wrong over the course of the year with only one loss. So should be a good afternoon in this game of football.
Now, a subtle change this afternoon, because the voice that you're most familiar hearing on this station for many, many years, Richard Grubby Cations, is not well. He's back at home in Werribee. In regards to you, Grubby, we know you'll be listening, but the man filling the shoes of expert commentary this afternoon, Alex Tagani. Welcome back to you after having a week off last week with injury.
That's it. I was injured as a substitute to come on. Obviously, Archie's away in England, and then I had the burst eardrum. But no, I think, Rob, you did a fantastic job. Grubby doing a bit of play-by-play calling himself, so he's really stretching his talent there. But I'll tell you what, best on-ground duties probably almost went to Tyler with his expert commentary. And he was doing well till about Monday night, until we were at the GD office and we saw his invoice and we thought, jeepers, this is worse than AFL Barwin's letters. We'll get him back behind the desk. But Tyler, sensational job as always. And Grubby, I didn't hang shit on you in round 5 when I filled in. It was a tough week for you, but that doesn't... That's not the same case today. I'll give you some calls as we go. But it's going to be a great game, boys.
Yeah, well, indeed. And nice commentary about Tyler, too, because he did fill in at short notice and debuted as a caller and expert commentary person and did a marvellous job. So hopefully we won't see the last we'll see of him. I'm really looking forward to this game this afternoon. I've seen North Geelong once against Inverleigh, where they sort of struggled. They won by less than a kick out there, where the Hawks came running home, kicked the last 4 goals of the game. But they, up until last week, had been undefeated. They're only lost by 1 point. But I was really, really impressed with the Werribee side last week. Getting over Bannockburn, and this is going to be a ripper game. And Alex and Dale, you've seen more of both of them, so I guess you'll have more of an idea of how it might play out.
Yeah, look, as I said, North Geelong... they've just been able to do what they've needed to do all through the course of the year, and I reckon they've still got some improvement within their side. I don't know whether they really had their best lot,
called it.
So coming in. So I would think that if they can keep themselves sound and keep themselves out of the umpires' books, as I said, they missed Blake Miller this afternoon. There's 1 or 2 others that are still not playing their side, but they've got some depth within their side now, and that's been probably the key to most, I think, as I said. If you've got that little bit more depth, it just seems to be able to cover off if something does go wrong. So, on the other hand, as I said, Werribee, their season didn't start that well, but a lot of those games they lost by less than a kick. So, they've been in games most of the time in troubled sides, and I think Grubby said last week, and obviously the week before, if they play their boost football, they're as good as anyone going around. So they just have to do that more often and for longer periods of time, and that's the biggest thing. And if you can do that and maintain it, then they will definitely trouble sides, not only during the course of the season, but come finals time out on the bigger ground at St Albans.
Just before we go to you, Alex, 3/4 time in the reserve game here, and the old adage, bad kicking is bad football, but in a game that's really, really even, but North Geelong, the home side, have kicked 5 goals, 9 from their 14 shots, but Werribee have had 12 shots and are 11-1, so they lead by 28 points, if my mathematics is correct. And that's
Bit
going to
like
be hard
last
to run
night's game,
down.
Rob.
Yeah, very much like last night's game. But no, it's a really good game of second 18 football. Werribee on top, North Geelong fourth, so you expect it to be very good. So, Alex, you are over everything in Geelong and District footy. Have you seen or believe that North Geelong being on top and only lost the one game are that much in front of everyone else, or is today going to be one of those days to really test how good they are?
Well, I'll make the statement to start off, Rob, that we're watching the game of the round. I know there were comments made on this station this morning that this might not be the game of the round. That's absolute rubbish. The reason I say that, post round 4, both of these sides are 4-1. So we've got the two informed sides of the last month and a half ready to go. You were impressed with Werribee last week. Peter Riccardi, he can expose a lot of those contenders on the expanses of this ground. So this is a great opportunity for Werribee to make a statement. Obviously, Werribee were held to a very low score of 4-10-34 last home and away season when they played North Geelong in round 17. But look, we'll go over the tactics of all these games. I just want to explain to all the viewers watching on the live stream and listening on the Pulse, this is a massive day for the North Geelong Football Club. It's the past Players' Day. I just walked through the rooms a second ago and I saw Whitley medalists, premiership captains, interleague captains. So much proud history at this club. And a shout out especially goes to, and Dale, I'm sorry if this is a soft spot because I don't know if you were the opposing coach, but the 2005 North Geelong under-18 premiership team are having their 20-year reunion. They defeated Bannockburn 13-7-85 to Bannockburn 8-5-53. Best players that day, Todd Elsey, Braden Carr, Mitchell Troy, and Braden Carr kicking the 4 goals, Elsey 3. So much history within those rooms and such a big day for North Geelong. The other note I did want to say from a production point of view is we're going to hold off naming the North Geelong team of the millennium. There's been lots of questions asked, but this segment's for Dale and Grubby, so we're just going to keep the build up there for North Geelong. But Rob, that gives us more time to preview all 6 of these nail-biting games this afternoon.
Yeah, you're right about the North Geelong history. When I was a young fella, they were the big ticket item in town in the Evelynhurst section. There was a period in I think it was the 60s, they won 6 in a row or something. Just a massive club during that period of time, and they've held it together for a long period of time in patches where they've been really good, and at the moment they're just on the rise to another, what looks like a pretty successful time for them in their club's history. So, gentlemen, let's look at the 6 games today. We'll leave this one till the end, but there's a couple of let's deal with the one that's probably not the big game of the round. At Thompson, who were surprised for many, winners last week. Not for me. I picked them 1 point over North Geelong, but they take on Corio, who since they've lost Joel Bennett are probably the only side that's really fallen away from the pack, Alex.
Oh, look, they've got 1 win to their name, but so does Geelong West, and that adds to the build-up of next week's clash, the bottom of the table clash. Corio not having Matt James today due to unavailability is going to hurt him, the reigning Whitley medalist, but in saying that, there's still been a lot of improvement in Corio's squad, Rob. Like, right now as we speak, Corio's resis are only down by 4 points to Thompson's reserves. You wouldn't have pictured that in recent seasons. You only go back to 2019, Corio were losing games to Thompson. I got 259 to 24 in round 1 that year, then 227 a zip. Now, even without Matt James, I think Corio can still put up a fight against Thompson. As for Thompson, well, you know what? When you beat the ladder leader by a point, you go into any game with confidence. So it'll be the Tigers for me, but I'm only going to go in that 40 to 50 point margin. And a special shout out to Jed Hannessy. He really has impressed me the last month of footy. Former South Bar and St Mary's and Amos Junior playing his 50th senior game for Thompson today. So, a crucial part of their premiership side last year. I'm sure he'll want to win another.
Dale, how do you see the Thompson Tigers, reigning premiers, but they've had sort of a wobbly start to the season, but last week might be their kick start?
Yeah, look, they probably do what they did last year. They'll probably make it into the 5, and then obviously things will probably change from there. But again, they've been struck down by injuries for most of the seasons, and I don't know whether they've had really the continuity they would have liked within their group as they've had in previous seasons. But I just want to say one thing about Corio. I said, I know Joel Bennett played last week out at Inverleigh, and after the injuries he's had, I know that Joel Bennett is out there doing the best thing he can for the Corio Football Club and for the blokes that he's out there coaching with and playing with. But I reckon there comes a time that you've got to actually look after Joel Bennett himself and be not mindful. I suppose mindful, because it's all right to go out there and play footy, and he played outside, which is okay again, but he's still... Football, as you know, anything can happen, and a knock or a tackle or anything like that can put him back in a situation like it was. So I know that he's probably sat down and he's spoken with mum and dad, well, not too much mum, but maybe dad, about his playing options. I don't know, other than being out there as a support element to the rest of the group and not just being as a coach, I'm just worried that they're not going to get much more out of this season. They can be competitive in games. If they win one and win two, does it really matter in the case of Joel Bennett playing and risking a lot more? Now, if you gave him another 6 to 8 months on the sidelines playing or watching football, getting his body properly fixed, mended and healed, I think for me, that would be a better option. I've gone through footy, come out the other side, and now I'm 60 and I think I'm starting to struggle with it all. So I'm not saying that's going to happen to him, but just for a typical bloke like him, as I said, I know he's putting the club first. I know he's putting his teammates that he coaches as a close number one as well. I just think there's a time that Joel Bennett needs to look after number one. That's been Joel Bennett. So, but I admire what he's doing out there. I hope he gets through the rest of the season. I don't want to see him get hurt in any way whatsoever. And I hope now that the rest of the group that he's playing with realise that he's actually sacrificing quite a fair bit to be out there, that they can just lift their work rate. And as I said, if they don't win games, it's not going to matter too much. But as long as they're competitive and stay in games, that will be what he'll be looking for. So I think Thompson will be far too strong, but I hope Corio can put up a show for him.
And what you're saying about Joel, I spoke to him at training on Thursday. I had a look at Corio. I think Linda will agree with you. I think Darren will agree with you. I think Toby will agree with you. I think half the club will agree with you. But you can't talk Joel into just common sense at this point. That's not a dig at him. He's just so passionate. He even admitted that when they played the Hawks last week, he was only going to be in the forward line. But then he just couldn't help himself. And by, I think, midway through the second quarter, had to throw himself in the middle. Now, he might do that again today with no Matt James. But that's where, and I think you've been commenting about it midway through this season, we got to now start putting time into Jack Hall and the rest of that midfield and get senior time into them. Let them, because they're the future midfield of that club, and they're going to close the gap on those other midfields in the next 3 to 4 years if they stick together. Joel's just got to do the right thing, and if he's going to have to play, just stay forward. Stay forward.
Play forward or play outside. Don't play on a wing and all the rest of it.
I was going to say, is that the trade-off, that he stays forward? But it sounds like he's cheated already. So.
Yeah, I think he moved himself. I think Donald Grundle was playing pretty good footy out there, and I think he was out there on the wing or something himself. And I think he went nominated and played himself on Donald Grundle for a while. So, look, as I said, I admire what he's doing, but there's got to be a time that you just take that little step back. As I said, if there was a lot to gain from it, if they were pushing to make the top 5, or they'd, had shown that they're not too far away with him and that they could have won maybe 1 or 2 more, but that's not happening at the moment. So, as I said, I just go back and I hope the rest of the group realise what he's putting himself through to get out there and help them, that they can just lift their energy and their rate for him and, provide a really good contest. As I said, Thompson will win this game of football. I've got no doubt about that, but the margin, let's hope it doesn't get ugly.
Alex, if this isn't the match of the day here, it certainly will be at Bannockburn where the Belmont Lions visit. What's your thoughts on that one?
I think it's going to be a blockbuster. Now, Rob, Belmont only have 11 players left from their grand final side from last year. That's how they're going on injury. So you got Michelle Vermeulen, Steele, Thompson, Jack Evans, McNamara, Braden Eddy, Dave Allett, Josh Wilson, Michael Murdoch, Ben Evans. That's it from the grand final side. The rest have either gone to other clubs or they've just been impacted with injuries. It's been well reported throughout the week that they've just been killed in the height department. And there's an advantage Bannockburn can get out of today in today's condition. Actually beat them right from the first stoppage in the ruck, because I know Reece Gin's in fantastic form and they've got some very handy players, Bannockburn there. I just think matchup-wise, the one I'd be looking at if I was there, and Dale, tell me if I'm completely off here, I reckon Belmont will play Michael Murdoch on Connor Jervis to nullify his contribution in the middle.
Yeah, well, has Connor Jervis been playing on a wing, or has he been playing in the midfield? I can't remember the last time we saw him, but he's influential into that group. Yeah. I admit that. Murdoch's been a good footballer, and I reckon he is the best tagger. Braden Eddy's the bloke that I've been impressed with every time I see him. He plays off a half-back flank, but he picks up possession after possession. Now, it's not as if he's not playing off a bloke. He plays on a bloke, but he just seems to be able to get himself in the right positions to win ball when they win it, and if he can't win it himself, then that's good. I agree with what you're saying. I think if Bannockburn are going to beat the Belmont Lions, because I think from what I've seen so far of them this year, they have been the most consistent side in performance and output. They never falter too much away from their game plan, and they've always been able to win games by just continuing. The day I think we saw them down there, they played who?
You saw him against
Anarchy?
Thompson. Oh, you mean last year?
Yeah, this year. Did we see him against Anarchy?
So you saw him 2 weeks in a row. Thompson
Oh,
at
East
Thompson
Geelong,
and then
sorry.
East Geelong at Winter Reserve.
Yeah, no, we saw him at East Geelong. The game we saw that day, that Belmont Lions never looked like losing that game of football, but East Geelong made little challenges all the way through the game, but they were just able to keep themselves in front, and that's what they've been able to do. And from what I've seen so far, I think they're probably the best or most consistent side that I've seen for most of the year, and just checking through results. But again, today, having said that, with all the injuries they've got and the guys have got out of their side, if Bannockburn are to beat them and give themselves a chance to get back into that top five, they have to win this game out there this afternoon. Their alliance is obviously going to be through Maybaum, who has been kicking goals from. He needs to be able to do that again today, and they need to find a few other avenues. Bailey Kelly, he's been able to get goals during the course of the year, but not on a consistent basis. And Fletcher Wilson's the other bloke that I really think he just looks like he's just going to tear a game apart one day. He has little patches, but he's just got to find that groove to get himself into the game for the full 4 quarters. I will tip the Tigers at home at Bannockburn, and only because of the injury that have come to Belmont Lions. If it had been probably 3 or 4 more blokes, more influential blokes coming back in, I think that Belmont Lions would have won. But I'm going to tip Bannockburn now with the injuries.
I'm going to join you because Belmont don't have, like I've mentioned who's still in the side, but not having Beasley and not having McPherson's another big name, you know. On top
Hootsma.
Hootsma, like on top of all the tools like Hootsma,
yeah.
But also having McPherson and Beasley at ground level out of the side. This is Bannockburn's chance. And Rob, I got a stat for you. 2015 was the last time Bannockburn went in a final series. Could you picture a final series at St Albans without Bannockburn participating?
Yes, a strong club, big town, big pool, great junior pool, and it's good to see the attitude they've had with their younger players going off to either the GFL or try out at other VFL clubs. I think that they do a really good job with their junior program, while it might cost them a bit, but they keep churning out these new names, these new kids that are coming through, and that's always going to keep them in the picture. I think they'll win today, and I think that'll set them up for a final series. On what I saw last week, you made mention, if they're going to get Belmont, today's the day with so many players out.
I mean, credit to Belmont's form to still be 8-1 with all the players they're missing this year.
Correct.
Their Rezzies are 7-2 as well.
Yeah.
Would you have pictured that 3 years ago? You know, so credit to them. But Banno for me.
Now, another big game today is the trendsetters of competition, Anarchy. They've been getting more and more serious, and I think a lot of people have been saying, oh, well, it's good that they're improving and they're competitive. But now all of a sudden you're thinking, well, they're going to play finals potentially. And today is a day where they really need to stamp that. They're at home in front of the adoring crowd, and they take on a team that John Mitchell said this morning are going to be premiers. That's East Geelong. What do you think, Dale? Is this the big one for them?
Well, I wouldn't say... I say they're playing good football, East Geelong. You're right. Anarchy are also playing some good football, and obviously to be where they are at this stage of the season, they would be extremely happy. They've got to be able to maintain that. I've made comments before that if they can maintain or hold Beasley to a minimum of 2 goals, then very regularly, or most times, they find out they can't win a game of football. He got 3 again last week, and obviously got over the top of Bellpost Hill. But they need to find those other avenues to goal. They've been able to do that. Barter obviously stepped up last week, and I think he kicked 4 or something like that. And he can show that he's another little option. Weaver's the other bloke that probably hasn't. I still don't reckon has found his hole or his niche in this level of football. He's played some consistent games now, which is good for him. East Geelong, on the other hand, as I said, I spoke to a couple of other blokes, teams during the course of the season. You just go and you just have a yak to them and see what they think. And most of the ones I've spoken to said East Geelong are the best side they've played. Bellpost Hill was one of those, and I spoke to Kevy Basley and I can't think who else was with him at this time. It might have been, doesn't matter who it was anyway. But I spoke to them up there, and they said the way they just slaughtered them, and they usually match up pretty well against them. So they were really impressed with what they were able to do against them. This is going to be the real challenge for East Geelong. This is a game where Anarchy, I think last year, even Anarchy troubled them out there from memory.
So they lost by a point.
Yep.
And that was actually the week Jake Mawson wasn't allowed to coach because of the incident against Belmont the week before.
Okay.
So he blames that on his assistant, Ryan Andre.
Well, he wouldn't take too much responsibility, but that's what I'm saying. They know that they can compete against this side, and it is a great opportunity at home. I lean towards East Geelong just because of their consistency, whereas I find that Anarchy are really, really good, but then they just have that little lapse when they win a game they probably should win and should dominate. So I think East Geelong win because Smith's in form. Steele, I think, is now finding a little bit more of the ball down forward and kicking goals on a regular basis, and I think they might just have that 1 or 2 more avenues in the goal-kicking box that can get them over the line. So I'll tip East Geelong. But I reckon it's going to be within 2 goals.
Geelong West, only 1 win for the season.
Hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Do I get to say?
Yeah, sure.
So I had to wear my grubby cap there.
I thought,
What's going on here?
Put your grubby cap on.
What is happening,
I thought you already made the pronouncement that East were going to win, but you carry on, sorry.
No, I didn't even get a word in on that game. I want to actually, for prosperity's sake, congratulate Jake Mawson. First Anarchy coach to defeat Bellpost Hill since Gavin Habib did it in 2008. So that was a 23-game head-to-head winning streak for Bellpost Hill. Anarchy bring Josh Mawson, Jesse Mawson and Matt Detman in the side. They've lost Geordie Kavanagh, AC joint, Robbie Milne and Michael Crossett. I think Crossett, I always mention, he's an underrated midfielder for them. We always talk about Dalhouse and Long in the middle, but Crossett's very handy when he's there as well. Everyone this week's been saying this will be the shootout between Bosley on one end and Zach Smith on the other. But for me, I can't help but think how good of a midfield clash this is going to be. Yes, Dalhouse is averaging 33 disposals a game, but Mitch Gavin's really been able to help him out there with the one-on-one work off of half-back. Gavin's averaging 28 disposals and 8 intercept possessions per game, so he's been a great addition there. But on the other end, and I'm going for East Geelong by a goal. John McIntyre's form recently has been very impressive, averaging 35 disposals, 46 last week against Geelong West. So not only do I pick East Geelong and John McIntyre for a BOG game today, I'll also tip him, Rob, for a 5th East Geelong club best and fairest. There you go. I just had to put my 2 cents in there. Now we'll go to the next
just
game.
on that midfield too, there's a young fella, well, he's not so young anymore, Jeremy Ollis, who I've seen play a lot of footy at Mottawarri, and he got eased out of the midfield onto the wing. He was a bit grumpy, and I think that's one of the reasons he's headed into town, but he's back in the first following division, and he is a very, very tough little left foot player, and he's another one that adds a bit of strength to that already strong East Geelong midfield, and I expect to see him play a prominent part between now and the end of the year.
It's going to be a great clash. Steele and him, they didn't go in the side in round 1 at the same time, obviously, with Ollis's injury. I think that actually works to Ned's advantage as a coach. He's now got a month each to work out how all these new recruits go. Even Jake McLean getting 48 touches against the Hawks a few weeks ago. Not bad for a midfielder. You can just play behind the footy.
Is Benny Crombie back in that side still?
No, he's not. Not today.
Not just yet.
So what did he do? Was it ankle? No.
So it's the left... possibly ankle, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So
Yeah, he's a very good player.
And what about Ezard? He was limping around last time we saw him. He's
Not
still
in
on?
today.
No, he must be still injured. So they've still got some players themselves to bring back into that side, then, haven't they?
Yeah. Look, I know we always say the same thing about East Geelong. They make it to September, they make it to St Albans, and then something happens. The footy gods are against them. I just feel like they've got enough this year to go all the way.
Excellent. Now, with my apologies,
There you go.
Alex, you can start this time. Geelong West, as you mentioned, only the one win. They've been in a lot of games where they probably could have done better. They've got a big test today. Inverleigh coming off a 100-point win. Inverleigh in the middle of the ladder. A lot of young kids, but they're starting to mount to be serious finals contenders. They shouldn't have much trouble at Western Oval today, should they?
They shouldn't, so long as they get a big score on the board. Now, Geelong West, we all know this isn't the first Geelong West side to go 1-8 to start the season. They've had a lot of long seasons at Bakers Oval, and so has been the case at West Oval the last decade as well. Nonetheless, this Geelong West side hasn't conceded 100 points once, and they've played against the whole top 5 at this point. So whoever your major goal kickers are for the Hawks, and they've had a spread of them between Snezkov and Peel and Grundle and all them.
Condi got 5 or 6 last week too.
Scotty Condi, there's another example. They really need to hit the scoreboard. And I feel for Scott Frangos, like I mentioned their loss to East Geelong last week. I reckon he was the only West player that featured in the top 10 ball winners on the whole ground. So the coach is doing everything he can to set the example on the field, but Hawks victory. And just with the Hawks, they're 9th on the ladder with a 4-5 start, but their 1-2 start, all 3 games were decided by 1 kick. So if the footy gods are on their side and you convert those 2 early losses to a win, well, then you look at it and all of a sudden they're 6-3, they're knocking on the top 3 door. I think with the run home they're going to have, they'll have a serious campaign for St Albans this year.
Yeah, I think they're looking good. I like the way the kids are developing. They've got a lot of goal kicking options when everyone gets on the park. Okay, Dale, what do you reckon?
Yeah, look, I'm not too sure on this game. As I said, Geelong West last week held their own against East Geelong for a fair portion of that game. I think he's got away from late in the game. Blair still, for me, is the bloke that they need in their side if they're going to be able to kick that winning score, because he's been out. I think he got concussed a couple of weeks back, so I'm not too sure that he comes back into their side. But I just had a quick look through their side. I couldn't see his name there, but I know we were speaking to Shane Grundle last night that Inverleigh also got a few injuries from this week's game. And again, that while they played well against Cryo last week, it's a different kettle of fish going in and playing Geelong West at Geelong West. I think that they probably can win the game of football in Inverleigh, but I'm telling you, if West get away to a little bit of a start and put that little bit of pressure on, I think this game could swing quite easily. So I'll tip Inverleigh, a close encounter here this afternoon, and I just want to see those, they're going to need their good players to be really playing well if they're going to get over the top of the line, because I just went through the West side as well. There's a couple of names there which are new to me. I know Michael Lima was actually back having a run in the seconds last week, and he called in during the week, but he's got his boots out of retirement, and he's back in the fold. Now, again, I didn't see his name in their senior side just yet, but maybe a week or so down the track,
well, he
might
was
be
named
one.
on Thursday night.
He's in, according to the...
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
And
I must have missed one. I just clicked through.
And he can seriously play.
Whether or not I should be sharing this, he was training with Belmont 3 or 4 weeks ago as well. So when we talk about teams of the millennium, there's a bloke that's probably going to feature in both Geelong West and Belmonts when you look at his career.
Yeah, look, he's a good footballer. He's a bloke that he's a bit of a swingman for me. You can play him anywhere you like. For me, I prefer him to play as a forward, but I know West have used him predominantly as a half-back flanker, and even in the ruck at some stage, which I really don't.
I don't play in the ruck once.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all. Not Michael Lima. As I said, he can jump, but you don't put a bloke like that in there when he can be much more effective around the ground. So, as I said, they're adding to their list. I've got no doubt about that. But is it going to be good enough for this afternoon? Look, as I said, if you could change your bet at quarter time, I probably would. But I think Inverleigh can get the job done just from the work I've seen them do over the last couple of weeks. So.
We're about to be interrupted by the final siren in the reserve grade game. North Geelong 7-11-53, but a very, very accurate Werribee Central's 13-1-79, 26 points in front. And according to the scoreboard, the siren should have blown. There it goes now. So 26-point win to the visitors here. And that'll give their senior boys a bit of confidence going into the game. Now, my old team...
Just before you go,
Sorry?
the boys will see Lincoln and Fraser Sertig. Are they haven't seen their names listed before.
I believe one of them's definitely a debutant from Torquay today.
So they're obviously brothers, but yep.
I think that's Fraser I'm referring to. Lincoln, I'm not too sure about.
Yeah, I just hadn't seen their names in their list either. So and there's a Nate Brislin I hadn't seen either. So they've also made some changes. So they must have injuries as well. So
two for one special before deadline day for
there
clearances.
Well, there you go. It may be some disgruntled second 18 players from other clubs have decided to come and have a crack at senior footy, and that might make them better. Who knows? We'll know about 4:30 this afternoon. Now, my old side, Winch, want them to win every week. They frustrate me, but this is one on their home deck. They should really win if they're going to be serious at all about showing improvement. Bellpost Hill, who surprised losers last week, possibly. How do you see this one going, Dale?
Yes, again, Rob, but you just don't know what you're going to get with the Winch boys out there. As I said, they've got some good running players. The last time we saw them play, their coach actually played, but unfortunately...
He's playing again today.
He is he? Because he had some trouble that day. He didn't think he'd come out of it too cleanly, but he's back in the fold again now. So very interesting to see him come back in, and I think he was clearly one of the better players on the ground up until he got injured, and then obviously that took a bit of his toll away. They won't want to take the game easily because, I said, Bellpost Hill, they played some good football during the course of the year. I think they've got better as they've gone along. Probably last week's game was probably a little bit of a... I would have thought that they should have beaten Anarchy, but they didn't. Anarchy are now showing me that they are top 5 quality. Home ground advantage, does it pay for much out there? Probably not. Bellpost Hill play a possession game of football, and they haven't changed that style since Gurge has been there. If they can maintain that and control the ball going forward, when I'm talking about Winchelsea, I think they win, but they will need to be at their very best to do so. So I'll tip the home side with a small margin.
You love a good matchup, Alex. Cassidy Parish and Jack Yates will probably spend a bit of time butting heads in the middle of the ground. That'll be fun to watch.
Jeez, fun to watch. Even if we just mic'd them up, those two personalities would be fantastic. Don't know if it'll be family friendly, but a great matchup. Speaking of the individuals, I grew up with the great Lockie Brown, so we got to wish his younger brother Caleb Brown all the best for his 100th game. Remember covering all those, hosting all those Winchelsea Best and Fairest nights when Jackson Smith used to always poll by about 20 votes. It was always the teenagers, Caleb Brown, Bailey Cale. I had to think about that name due to Smithy's performance.
I saw Cayley last week and asked to pass on his best to you.
He's only a second player, thank God.
Yeah. But you knew back then Caleb was already made footballer at age 16, 17 for our senior competition. Obviously, injuries deprived him from probably reaching the 150 mark at this point, but 100 games is fantastic. And there's never a nail-biter between these two sides. Last year, the commentary team saw Winchelsea have a day out in round 7, but then come round 17, it was Bellpost Hill on their past players' day. Just absolutely pull the Blues pants down. Bellpost Hill really did surprise me last week, only kicking 5-6 at three-quarter time against Anarchy. So I'm expecting them to respond with a big margin today. But for Winchelsea, you want to see them put in a good fight because they've got East away, then they'll host Inverleigh at home. Rob, I know it's a big game for you. And then they've got Corio away and then West at home. So a few interesting fixtures there for the Blues, but I'll still go with the Panthers comfortably this afternoon.
Well, there's only one left, gentlemen, and it's the one we're looking at. We've talked a little bit about it earlier. Dale, you've seen a bit of both sides. How do you see this one playing out?
As I said, the North Geelong have been able to just go along, maintain their winning performances, and they've had some injuries during the course of the year. For me, the big difference to North Geelong this year compared to others is having Tommy Davis back on that side. Like, you've got a genuine ruckman now that can actually go out there and play the game of football as it should be, because they've had a little bit of hit and miss time with some smaller players, and that obviously didn't work for them. With him back in the fold, I know the Paramenov's still not available, but he's probably going to be closer to the last part of the season. It's interesting to see Lukey Parker back in their senior side, and I spoke to him before the game. This is Grubby's favourite player, and he's probably, if he was here today, he'd probably have the ticket written out for 3 votes and already written it the award straight through to the hotel for a meal. But he's still a good quality footballer. He probably not as quick as he used to be, but for me, there's not a bloke that kicks the ball better than him at any ground that I've seen. So he's a good addition to this side. Their younger brigade, pretty much along the same lines of Karaya. They've got a good bunch of younger blokes now, and I can't tell you how old Jackson Jewell is, but guys like Des Noy, as I said, I speak of him every time we come here. Everyone tells me how good he's played. He's now showing me that he can play the game of football. Charlie Farrell, I wish his body had been able to stay sound, because he was probably one of the best junior footballers going around and can play. They've got the Swennerson boys. We know what they provide every week. They've got a very, very good young junior side here, good young group here, I should say. Riccardi's the bonus to him, because he provides that little bit of speed on the outside. He's good ball use. I've got no doubt about that. You look at the other side, and as I said, we spoke about their ball movement. Rob, you spoke about it just before. The ball movement from Werribee last week against Bannockburn was extraordinary. When they can play their best football, they are as good as any side in the competition. So I know this is getting played at North Geelong, but I'm not so sure that they can maintain a winning formula against this side. But it's another game. I reckon if you sit back and watch the game unfold, you'll definitely have a winner by quarter time. I reckon the game will be, you'll see some differences in it, and if I can pick that out, then I'll probably make a decision. But because it's a home game here for North Geelong, I'm going to sit on the fence here and say North Geelong will win it at this stage.
Tom Davis was a big part of your commentary, but last week we saw Pat Daly, and when he rested what's his face, Gilbert Kegg and Gilbert, two big strong bodies, and that probably allowed to open up the game. And again, Alex, to see Davis and Daly going head to head, that to me is the matchup for me that I'm most excited about.
Absolutely. You look at the stats for this year in hit-outs. Paddy Daly's leading in the league with 390. Tommy Davis second, 325. Luke Wilson, 300. So the top two ruckmen in the comp. We might even pick the team of the year ruckman based on today's performance. It's a big call, but it's the only time these two will play each other in the home and away season. So you might have the same amount of taps, but one might kick 3 goals and have a few intercept marks, and the other might not. So you never know what happens there. The other stat I like, the inside 50 counts, leading for the whole league, Michael Culliver 62. Second, Thomas Schwennerson, North Geelong 58. And third, Tyler Crennan, Werribee 57. Yeah. So if the ball's in any of their three hands, you know that something special could happen, but that's a 2-to-1 advantage to Werribee. I just want to put the individual focus on two players for North Geelong. The first one, the bloke that usually sits in this seat would be very excited about, and that is the great Luke Parker. He's back at senior level. He returned to the side last week. Did enough against Thompson. It wasn't the Luke Parker of old, but I'm sure he's going to lift his game in front of all his former teammates here for Past Players Day. And the other one, well, the great Thomas Schwennerson, 100 games. And I said that he was in form when we previewed the Anarchy clash here, because he was averaging 28 disposals. Well, since then, he's had 33 against Anarchy, 32 against Winch, 37 against Bannockburn. And I think he was by far the best on ground last week against Thompson for both sides, with 38 disposals last Saturday. So Thomas Schwennerson, he's probably having career best form now, and he'll definitely be one to watch. I just think Werribee, if they're going to make a statement, it's the same as what I said about Geelong West. They've got to hit the scoreboard. They were held to 34 points against North Geelong last year. And you've got to remember, North Geelong have added Ben O'Brien and Jasper George to their backline this season. So probably the best back six in the league. There's a reason North Geelong are at top of the table. And based on all these stats, I'm also going to go for North Geelong by a kick.
One of the things that probably has impressed you, again, Rob, we spoke before, the game of Liam Robertson last week, from all reports, was exceptional. He just intercepted marks and just held their defence together. Now, if Werribee have had a little bit of a problem over the recent years, I reckon that's been their defence. They've always haven't had a solid defence or a reliable defence that they can hold on to. And they've got Robinson there. We saw Gavin Donnan against Corio, and I said to Grubby, he looked like he looks like he knew what he was doing. He obviously is improving with each game that got vested into him. So they are now building a defence around 2 or 3 blokes that can actually hold down spots and obviously be good players and hold key position forwards. They now need to obviously just develop a few more blokes. There's a couple of blokes not missed in there.
With Blake Miller out, is there a big ugly body in that forward line that is going to cause problems, or are they all those nifty little quicker blokes like Mitch Abib?
Yeah, it's going to be, I reckon, a smaller setup that they're going to have. You probably throw a guy like Desnoy into that position. I reckon the bloke that will play forward will be Sam Reynolds, will go forward again. He did it here the last time we saw them play. I wouldn't be surprised if he lines up at centre half forward. Now, out of the goal square, it probably doesn't matter who you have. Mitch Abib did play up the ground that day, but I reckon he'll go back there. Who is it? John Fazio is a bloke that just regularly gets goals. He kicks his 2 or 3 every week from just that being a small forward. But again, they're going to rely on those other key forwards coming down the ground and the delivery into the forward line. And as I said, if Luke Parker can find a little bit of space, and if they don't pay him the respect he's probably due, then they might find him at the end of the day with 4 or 5 against his name also, because he can get it inside 50, and he's one of the blokes that can kick that distance still.
And I'll also note Blake Miller didn't play the last time they defeated Werribee either. Johnny Fazio 4 goals that day, and what I saw against Thompson, Johnny Fazio was able to win all the one-on-ones. He's got enough strength. He's a mid-side forward. He's not a Bosley tall or anything like that, but he's a smart footballer. He can win the one-on-ones.
Linehan Cunningham, did he play against Bannockburn last week?
Had little impact.
He must have been injured then, because he's not in their side, so that's why I asked.
He got his hands on the footy a lot, but just had no impact on the game. And you look at the players huddled up, there's Gilbert and Daly head and shoulders above the rest of the group. They're a small, quick side, Werribee, and I'm just looking around the North Geelong group. Davis stands out very much like a sore thumb, and the rest of them look to be just 6-footers. So it'll be pace and ball movement from both sides will be their strength, I imagine.
Yeah, look, as I said, Jules being the bloke that a couple of weeks ago, he had 40 possessions, I reckon, when we had him here last time. So he's a very good midfielder. They're going to rely on blokes like Cooper Pass to go in there and do some ruck work for them. I'm not too sure whether they throw Beecroft in there, but they're going to have to give Tommy Davis a spell at some stage, so someone will have to go in there. I reckon Pask will be the bloke that will go in there and provide that outlet for him.
Well, he'll have to be busy because Gilbert was quite formidable in there while Daly was resting as well. So I would think that in the majority of cases, Carlton and Crennan and Culliver are going to have the first look at it, maybe. Yeah, and that'll be important to this game for Werribee.
Yeah, remember Culliver only had the 1 touch last time they played as well, and he was, let's just say, taken out of play 3 minutes in. So you're going to get an extra 30 touches out of him today. That'll certainly help the visitors.
He was very, very good last week. Brad Carlton always is, and Tyler Crennan's had a couple of runners up in the Whitley medal, if my memory serves me correctly. So he is a seriously good player as well. So they're not going to lose out in the midfield, I don't think. It's just whether they'll take the opportunities going forward. And Salibra, and I must admit, really surprised at the change in body shape to Kai Patiage. Really strong body he's developed. He was very good last week. I kicked 3 or 4, I think. So those two, I think that's where Werribee's goals are going to come from. Players are getting ready now. We might go back to you in the studio, Steelo, for the first quarter introduction and get ourselves underway here. This is GDFNL football at Osborne Park. Alex, were you still on the fence, or did we get a winner out of you? I'm going to go with Werribee.
No, still go North Geelong, but we just want to wish our umpires all the best. Field umpires Scott McLeod, Diamond Quinlan, Matthew Searle, Boundary, Charlotte McKinnon, Lockie McKinnon, Ruby Weatherhead, and goal umpires Lachlan Werner and Chase Newman. We'll give them another shout out in the second half.
Excellent. We're about to get underway. The umpires just surveying the ground to make sure everyone is in place. We've got 12 at each end. We've got 8 in the middle and some wingers. Everything set up. It's traditional Aussie rules footy at its best. Beautiful sun-drenched ground. There's not a breath of wind that I can see anywhere. So there's no excuses for anyone today. We should see skills at a very, very high level. And as the umpire holds the ball in the air, Dale Smith, it is up to you to get us underway in this GDFNL match of the day on 94.7 The Pulse.
Yes, looking forward to this, as we said. So Davis is in there, which will obviously help out, and Daly doing the ruck work for the Werribee side. Umpire with ball in hand, siren has sounded. Game is about to start, and umpire now puts the ball in the air. Ruckman go at it. Daly wins the ball down, goes towards Carlton, but it picked up. Sorry, from Culliver. He had a fresh area, but ball has now been in dispute and was held up, so the umpire is going to come in and take possession of it. So gain ball up from the ruck contest. Tapped wide of the contest, picked up by Swennerson on the left boot. Long kick going back into the forward line. Riccardi there with ball, and he lost the ball there. It was picked up there by Gibson. He lost it also. Again, the ball now back in Riccardi's hand. Tackled, shrugs through that. Speed gets him out of the contest. Goes towards goal, long and flat. And the ball has gone through for a minor score. First score of the afternoon to the North Geelong side. They moved to one solitary behind. And that has just taken only 48 seconds. Ball back in very quickly in the hands of there. McDonald goes after it again. Got the handball back inside. Put Carlton on a bit of pressure because he didn't quite hit the target. Still working hard, McDonald. Ball pushed out towards centre wing. Ball now kicked off the ground. Runs over the boundary line. The throw will take place on the far side. We'll call it the beach side, seaside, whatever you want to call it.
Seems that the game gets on the other side of the ground very quick, which makes it hard for ageing commentators, Dale.
Absolutely. If we moved our van across here, you know where the ball would be, don't you? Straight across back here. So ball's now back in play. Kick forward by Culliver. Goes back towards centre wing. Game running towards the boundary line. Vestie's there, and the ball has beaten both players over the boundary line. There'll be a throw-in once again.
A couple of Vesties in this team. I haven't seen them before, but they were...
Regan Vestie played in the interleague side and was quite good.
He was very, very good last week as well.
They actually did the stats for the interleague game. Regan finished with 25. That surprised me. He played very well, but I didn't know he had that many touches.
Yep, so the ball now comes from that ruck contest. Picked up out there. Crennan gets out of the contest, kicks long into their forward line. A little bit too much carry on it. Going back, the mark is going to be taken out there by O'Brien. So he will steady things down for North Geelong. So he's got them on the half-back line. He chips the ball back inside. Davis kick. Taylor had his hand on it but couldn't take clean possession. Gain picked up and cleared away. Paskett was that got the ball back into the hands now of Farrell. Steams his way through the middle of the ground. Short kick up towards Parker. One hand up, trap the ball and then mark the ball. He's a good kick. How long will he go? He's going to go long into the forward line. A little bit of height there, so he's going to test his forwards. Fazio with hands on. He's been allowed to do that, and the umpire said he can go back and have a kick at goal.
And that's what I'm talking about. I said in the pre-game, his one-on-one work, Johnny Fazio, he's very, very handy. Never takes his eyes off the footy, and wouldn't surprise me if today's a 5-goal performance for him as well.
He has been reliable all season. He obviously gets his name in there on a regular basis, and he has a chance to put North Geelong's first on the board. So Fazio will kick from about 40 metres, just over 40 metres. Staggering approach, kicks long, and he is... I think it's a goal. It's gone through. And he has the first of the afternoon. North Geelong move to that 1-goal-1. They lead Werribee, who are yet to score. We've gone 3 minutes. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, first quarter scoreboard.
I'd say the one they want to have on the board, Rory Desnoy hasn't played senior footy in a month, and they started him on the bench, so they've just put him on the ground now, hoping to start off with the two-punch method, I suppose.
In the middle of the ground. Great start by the Magpies on their home deck. Adoring past legends in the rooms, watching it from the... It's a pretty good balcony viewing area over there in the rooms as well. We'll get over there at the half-time and take in a bit of hospitality, Dale. You look a bit peckish.
Yes, no, always looking forward to that part of the day.
The ball's up in the middle. Daly has most of it. Carlton comes out with the ball, tackled immediately, falls from him. Davis is tackled. The umpire says he threw the ball, and it'll be... Paddy Daly, no, he's going to Crennan. Tyler Crennan is going to take the free kick right in the middle of the ground. Davis on the mark. Crennan goes out wide looking for McDonald. He picks it up on the bounce, around on the left foot, down towards half forward. Vesti that we talked about before comes out, can't trap it. He's worried out of that, loses possession. It is Teros from North Geelong gets a kicks down the line, but that's been intercepted in the middle of the ground. Oh, it's over the head of Barclay, but the umpire's gone and reversed things. It's going back to where it originally was, and North Geelong will be the recipient of a free kick.
Not too sure what that was
there
for
on
either,
centre
Rob.
wing, and it'll be Pask that will take the kick there right on the centre wing. I didn't see anything there, so we presume the umpire is the right man on the job. So Pask kicks down the line looking for a teammate. Robinson, that we mentioned played so well last week, punches the ball clear. But it's North Geelong who pick up the crumb. Big hand pass inside, finds Jewell. He evades a player, and a neat little hand pass. Another one further on. Desnoy kicks into the forward line, coming out and taking a very strong mark there. Is Luke Parker. He's already had a mark and a possession. They kick that as a beautiful pass. Just the umpire's going to pay that in the back. And Mitch Habib has got a free kick. He went for the chest mark, and his opponent behind pushed rather than punched the ball. The umpire saw that. And he is going to have a free kick about 30 metres out directly in front, lining up for the Magpies second, and this is just a perfect start for them. And it's going to put a little bit of pressure on Werribee if he can get this through, and quite a reliable kick for goal he is. So Mitch Habib about to come in. As I said, he'll kick from about 30, almost directly in front, kicking to the Melbourne end of the ground. A legendary name of the club. He likes it. Starts clapping as soon as it leaves his boot. Second goal on the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter scoreboard. And Alex, that is a perfect start for the Magpies.
Perfect start and smart footy from Luke Parker there. You can tell he's got enough experience. He's a senior premiership player. Lowered the eyes straight away. Found his teammate in a better spot. And I'll tell you what, the talent in this North Geelong lineup is endless. I mentioned Desnoy's on the ground. He had his first touch. He's back in senior footy. Now Cooper Vaughan straight off the bench, and he's marking his opponent there just to the right of the centre contest. So Tommy Davis is doing well on the ruck, but North Geelong, they don't have a player that's not contributing.
So ball back now. Davis takes the ball out, gives it away, and Vaughan ends up with it. Comes through the middle of the ground, kicks into the half-forward line, and out in front. Parker, good strong hands once again. Decides to play on, loads up, goes long, bang, and that is straight through the middle.
Look at that.
Luke Parker has got his first of the afternoon, and the third goal's goes on the board for North Geelong. They're 3 goals, 1. Werribee are yet to score. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, first quarter scoreboard.
Well, he's a North Geelong club legend. He's a GDFNL league legend, and he's just put up the first contender for the Connect-Out goal of the day. Well done, Luke Parker. 4 kicks and 3 marks already to start this match.
Righto, Stats King. How old is he?
He was born in 1989, which would make him
36.
There you go. How'd that sound, Rob?
What an extraordinary start. 3 marks, 3 kicks, 2 goal assists and a goal.
And I made up the date of birth. I sounded confident, though.
No, I liked it. Ball's come out of the centre again. It's Swenninson for North Geelong there, peppering already early in this game. This time Parker couldn't get his hands on the ball. The ball's come out into the path there of Donnan. He can't pick it up for the Werribee side. Swenninson again follows up. A quick kick on his left foot, goes forward, and they're taking a safe mark. In the forward pocket, unattended for North Geelong. When he spins around, I'll know who it is.
Oscar Riccardi.
It's Oscar Riccardi wearing number 41 today. They've dropped 10 off his original number. That shows he's getting a bit of credibility within the club. He'll be back in single figures shortly, no doubt. So it's Oscar Riccardi. He's tighter than 45 degrees, but probably 35 metres out when the ball leaves his foot. He's got very, very good skills, as his daddy had. That is a beautiful kick off the boot. Does not cause any trouble for the goal umpire there. 4th inside 10 minutes in this Buckley's Entertainment first quarter. This is getting rather messy.
7 inside 50s to 1. Oh, here we were saying in the pre-game North Geelong by a kick. Well, I reckon they've had about 40 more kicks to start this game. That's the way they're going. I keep mentioning the talent that's coming off the bench. Jackson Jewell will be on in a second. Luke Parker just came off with a hero's applause. If I was Luke, I would have walked all the way down to the past players, then come back.
Come back, yeah.
Stevie J style, but not to be. Let's see if Werribee can put some respect back on the board.
Yeah, so we're back in the middle once again. This time Daly gets the ball out of the middle, or got the first tap, went back and collected his own ball, got the handball away, went outside. Pattiage comes up, can't pick it up. Daly's back doing the work at ground level, goes to Carlton. Carlton handballs back into the middle of the ground. Taylor's there, but it's picked up Swennerson. Blind turns around himself then, gets the handball outside to Smith, and on the left boot they go back into attack again. There's a kick down the field. It's going to go to Fazio. So a relayed kick going down the field. So Johnny Fazio now with the ball. Probably just outside his range here. We'll be looking for someone to kick the ball to here. He worked towards a bit, but then went over his head. Coming out, the mask has been taken. I reckon that would be Pask, is it? That's taken the mask. Cooper Pask, it is. And he's going to go back, and he's going to look at their fifth in the first 10 minutes of the game. So their ball movement has been extraordinary. And where we've added to it, I suppose, with that free kick down the field there. So Pask, I couldn't tell you his goal-kicking ability, but from about 20 metres out directly in front, you would think he should be able to add to their tally that exists, and that's a ball that has maybe snuck through. Not too confident, but yes, he is. Umpire said that is okay. They have their fifth. North Geelong are 5-1. They lead Werribee yet to score, and we've gone 10.5. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, first quarter scoreboard.
Just round the grounds, Bannockburn 2-1-13 leading the Belmont Lions 1-1-7 at Victoria Park. And we've also got Winchelsea with the first goal on the board, 1-1-7 leading Bellpost Hill yet to score. Thompson 3-3-21, Corio yet to score. So competitive in the Rezzies, but Thompson just flying out to a big start as well over at Godfrey Street.
Dale, I've forgotten the rules in the commentary box. Are you allowed to change your pre-match tip 10 minutes into the first quarter?
I said that quarter time I'd be having another assessment, but I did pick North Geelong, but not by this at this stage. But it's only early, Rob.
Daly got the secondary tap after Davis got his first hand on it, but it went nowhere. The umpire's going to force them to go back and have another crack at it. So the two big monsters have a go. I reckon Davis got most of that over his shoulder, but immediately tackle coming through, picking up the crumb for Werribee. Going no there, that was Vesti. The umpire says give it back, and we'll have a third ball up to get underway. 5-1 plays nothing on the Buckley's Entertainment scoreboard at this stage. Daly cleverly over his head, but intercepting there is Vaughan for North Geelong. He kicks it forward. Ball comes out of the pack. Riccardi picks up the crumb, runs into an open goal, and whacks through their sixth at the 11-minute and 50-second mark of this first quarter. And this already is a spifflication, Alex.
Well, if you want to ask who's the winner of the GDFL mid-season draft, it's got to be North Geelong, getting Oscar Riccardi in a few weeks ago, and hasn't he topped up this list? He's clean with the footy, precise with his angle kicking, and is that his second goal already?
Yep.
Unbelievable. And I know I bang on about the inside 50 count, but even just marks inside 50, you'd be licking your lips if you're North Geelong now, because a lot of them have been uncontested, and that's a worrying sign for Reece Prismal and Werribee.
Yeah, it is. There's a few guys in the forward line who have not even had a sniff yet. Prismal being one of them back in the side today. He's at centre-half forward and hasn't had a look yet. Daly gets another tap out, but intercepting again is Jewell. He quickly kicks forward for the North Geelong side. That whistles from the netball court are annoying me. That's all I can hear at the moment. North Geelong win it back, kick down the line looking for Desnoy, but Vesti comes in behind him to take a chest mark and relieve the pressure. Gets it across to Robinson at true centre-half back. He goes back further into the square and finds Porter. Porter hand passes to Culliver. Culliver now looking for a teammate. And that's Salib, who's come all the way up for the forward line trying to get himself into the game. He's on the half-back flank. The umpire, he tried to play on. The umpire said let it go. North Geelong win the ball again through Zach Swenninson. The umpire has blown the whistle and deemed to be out of bounds. So we'll have a throw in. Half-forward flank, North Geelong in attack, as they seem to have been this entire contest, leading 37-0 at the 14-minute mark of the first quarter.
From the ruck contest.
Oh, sorry, mate.
From the ruck contest goes to Vaughan. Vaughan goes back inside. One hand Robinson couldn't finish it off. Parker around the body. And he has kicked his second goal of the afternoon. So it is a procession at the present time. 7-1 North Geelong. Yep. Werribee Central's yet to score. We have gone just on 14 minutes. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, first quarter scoreboard.
Well, we just got the word from Tyler and Brad. We're packing up the van. We're going to one of the other games. So well done to North Geelong and a great win. Yeah, the celebrations have started. What can I say, boys? Not being disrespectful to Werribee Centrals, but this is one of the best starts I've seen in my 15 years of local footy coverage. This has been unbelievable for North Geelong.
It's been dominant.
Well, it's not as if Werribee are playing badly. They just haven't been able to win the ball and they don't get a chance to touch it again.
Yeah.
It's been extraordinary, the slick ball movement. This is much higher level than Geelong and District. Davis gets that again, forces it forward. Culliver, left foot kick out to the centre wing, but again it's North Geelong who are picking up the crumbs. Vaughan hand passes inside there to Henderson. He kicks long into the forward line. Players waiting underneath it. It's Fazio, but that's Mark, the umpire. Hadn't blown the whistle. The defender played on, but thought, no, hang on a minute, I'll go back and take the kick. He has done that, and that's a kick down the ground. Intercepted by Jewell. Jewell short passes, that's an ugly one, gets it across towards Swenninson, swings around on the left foot, neat little pass and finds, is that Habib?
It is.
Habib in the forward line, he's got one already. From a similar distance, opposite side of the ground, he'll be kicking from 45 on the clubroom side of the ground, or the highway side of this Keith Barclay Oval. Lining up for his second, his team's 8th. And we're 15 and a half minutes into the Buckley's entertainment first quarter. This is extraordinary.
Grubby's not here. He'd be down in the Werribee coach's box by now.
Well, I don't know what do you have to say. That
Well, he couldn't say
just
much.
can't touch it. Just literally cannot touch it. Okay, so a bib, 45-degree angle, 35 metres he'll be kicking from. Leaves the boot. It's straight. He's happy already. His teammates are excited. That's number 8 for the Magpies. And we are 16 minutes into the Buckley's entertainment first quarter. Goodness gracious me, Alex.
That inside 50 count is 12 to 1, right? Now, before I stretched my head out to see the time, I thought we must be maybe 24, 25 minutes into the first quarter. We're at the 16-minute mark.
It's extraordinary.
Panic stations. What is happening?
It is quite extraordinary. I don't know how they're going to change it. They've got their best players are all in and around the ball. Daly's just come off for a change, so we'll see what Gilbert's able to do. He's in there with Pask, as you suggested. Pre-match would be their most likely option, Dale, for a second ruckman at North Geelong. So let's see what Gilbert can do. He does get his hand to the ball, but it's Swenninson who takes it off the pack, kicks it long, quickly forward, and they're starting to get a bit rabbly in defence now, East Geelong. Parker's long handball over the pack. It's interrupted. Riccardi has run in and kicked his third. They're 9th for the afternoon. At the 17-minute mark, it's 9-1-55 to nothing, and that was really easy, Alex.
I just took the headset off. I was going to yell at Keegan Carr, their assistant coach, Mercy Rule. I'm not taking the you-know-what, guys, but 13-1 inside 50s. Tommy Schwennison's clearance was the highlight of that goal right there. That was his 10th disposal, and he spent 5 minutes on the bench. Now, I'm saying he's averaging the mid-30s. We might have a 50 game out of him the way he's going.
Yeah, this has been amazing. And that was the first time I've seen Werribee looking shaky, doubting themselves, not really going hard at the ball, Dale. They are clearly rattled, and understandably so. Yeah,
when things are going against you, it's a bit like last night's game. It just doesn't work for you, and it's not working here for them at the moment. And here's another chance for them. Through Henderson, off centre wing, long into their forward line. Fazio in a one-on-one. Didn't take the mark. Ball comes to ground. They're working hard in defence again. And De Leon's going to be emerging with it. Got the handball outside, and they leave it with a long kick going back towards centre wing. Kerr comes across. Mark not taken. Ball at ground level. Henderson goes after it once again. Ball in dispute. Picked up by Swenninson. Ball stripped out of his hands, but tackle laid. Ball not coming anywhere. Probably a little bit of man-on-man. That's all you can do at this stage, and just hope that you can stem the tide. But looks like Prismal doing some ruck work. Pass gets the ball. He goes long into their forward line. Well, not too long, but it goes to centre forward. The mark has been taken out there. Might be Donnan. Transfers play across the ground. Crennan. Little possession football would be very, very handy here. Just take some run out of North Geelong, even if you have to go sideways, backwards, or whatever. So a little short kick, chip up over the top, goes to Prismal. Mark is taken. Ball 20 metres down the ground. Called the play on now by the umpire, and he goes back into the middle of the ground. Kerr slides and does take the mark. So he's got the ball, and he's got the handball running through. Donnan once again got the handball back outside. So they've been able to maintain a little bit of possession. Their kick goes out towards the forward line. Mark not taken out there. Teros is there. He picks the ball up. Space in front of him. Goes to Riccardi. In space. Looks up. Over the top has Parker. Found him. Now this is going to be dangerous. Where does he go to? He goes long back to the goal square. and gets over the top there of his teammate. Ball runs towards the boundary line, and it's going to be a throw-in in the forward pocket.
It was Fazio. It was just couldn't quite get his body in exactly the right spot. The kick from Parker
manoeuvred his
was
play
pretty good.
Nicely, didn't he? But
Yeah.
just couldn't get the hands back to grab it. So it's, again, possession football, but not even an inside 50 in that for a forward. Ball with the umpire, throws it in. Again, there's a free kick being given, and it's going to
North Geelong.
North Geelong. I didn't see what it was for or what the indication was.
Must have been in the ruck, and it must have been pretty obvious because North Geelong players were actually calling for it before the ball had ever landed at the contest, so he must have been held out of it.
So this is Jordan Purcell. He hasn't got his name in the book, but I reckon it's not going to take too long before he does. He has been reliable in his goal kicking. So Purcell steps in, kicks that goal. No, he stayed at that, and it's gone a little wide and through for a minor score. He might spend some time in the pine at the minute. It's now 9-2, and just as well because I've run out of space in the top line. Werribee are yet to score. We've gone 20 minutes. Buckley's Entertainment Centre, first quarter scoreboard.
Prismal takes the mark from the kick out on the half-back flank. The experienced coach, he'll be looking to settle things down. He's kicked it out to centre wing. The Eos who infringed with that was McDonald. He was whacked in the solar plexus as he attempted to take that mark. Given a friendly reminder by Sam Reynolds about how tough this game is. Goes forward and Carlton drops to his knees to take a chest mark from that lead. Now he's looking for another option. Kicks down the line but intercepting in defence for North Geelong. There is Farrell. And Farrell waiting to bring the ball back into play. Sees someone directly opposite the grounds, taking a little bit of a bounce to give himself some room. Does the kick across to Zach Swenninson, who's just started to come into the game. His brother has been dominating. Comes out the back of the pack to Jasper George. He hand passes across to a teammate. Another long hand pass there. Forward it finds Vaughan. Vaughan kicks down the line looking for, and that is a very, very good mark by Parker, who's been prominent in the early stage of this game. Another delightful kick into the path of Desnoy. He kicks into the pocket. And he takes an absolute blinder in the goal square. High up over his opponent. Second grab on the way down, and he will kick from the line directly in front and will certainly put through their 10th for the afternoon.
Don't worry about the goal. That is the Routley's Pie mark of the day. Got to look after the sponsors, and didn't he look after the massive crowd?
Could be the play of the day too, mate, from Blooming from ball down the far side.
Kempy Reid, the play of the day, and Routley's Pie mark of the day. Take a bow, North Geelong Football Club.
22 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter. It is 10-2 to North Geelong, nothing to Werribee. Alex, did you see anything like this coming?
I'm starting, not a conspiracy theorist, I'm starting to speculate whether Grubby's sick or not. Maybe he knew that Werribee were a bit underdone, but no one could have forecast 62-0 start.
Well, I bet it's not making him feel any better anyway,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Definitely wouldn't be. Ball back in the middle of the ground, tapped out again. Daly got the first hand on it. Over the top of the ball is Carlton. He's trying to work the ball out of the contest. Crennan does so, but it's going to be picked up by Smith, and he was tackled high. And a free kick will go.
That's going to be reversed.
And it will be turned around. And it's going to go to Prismal. Handball back inside Culliver. Off a step, goes into their forward line. That's a nicely weighted kick. Takes a mark. McDonald plays on, kicks back towards goal. Not too sure why he didn't steady, but he had the momentum and kept it running. And it's through for a minor score. They are on the board now. It is 10-2. North Geelong, one solitary behind to the Werribee side. We'd gone 23. Buckley's Entertainment Centre first quarter scoreboard.
Tom Swenninson caused that kick reversal, and he's been dragged and copped a little bit of wrath from the coach on his way into the box. Prismal takes the mark from that kick in from North Geelong, wheels around on the left foot, kicks long into the forward line, but intercepting to take a mark there for North Geelong is Beecroft. He kicks cross goal and finds a teammate in the opposite back pocket there. He kicks further down the line, but intercepted by Werribee. They're starting to get a little bit of oomph going in their game now. Culliver takes a mark in the centre of the ground, wheels around, kicks long into the forward line, hoping for a mark. Kerr at the front can't hold up. North Geelong's defence is solid. Ball not going anywhere. The umpire will be forced to take a bit of a hand. I noticed Reece Prismal's got himself physically involved in the game, Alex, and that's probably maybe lifted a few of them a bit.
It has, but you shouldn't be a bloke that's 23 years into his senior footy career. You need blokes like this guy, Crennan, to bang it on the right and hopefully kick their first goal of the afternoon.
Oh, no, but Kerr has taken a great mark beside the point post, a chest mark diving away. He is right hard up against the boundary line. He's going to have to run around and play on to or find a short pass, but it's desperate that this is turned into a goal to give his players, his teammates, some confidence. So Kerr hard up against the point post is the man on the mark. He runs around. It's a banana. It looks pretty good from here. The goal umpire is very happy, and Werribee Centrals have finally got themselves on the board. 1-1-7. It's to 10-62. And we're 25 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter.
Well, there's two bits of good news for Werribee. A goal on the board, and in terms of the finals race, Geelong West 5-2-32, leading Inverleigh 2-2-14. The Hawks just with a late goal then in the opening quarter. So if Geelong West can at least put a line through the Hawks, that gives Werribee some momentum, but it's just too late for them to get back into this game. You have to go back to the North Melbourne Essendon comeback match of 2001 for anything.
They're lucky it's only the first quarter, mate. They don't have to outscore them by 3 goals every quarter and they're back in it, but they've got to be able to do that. And the way they're playing, they're not going to be able to. So ball back in the middle of the ground again, coming from the through as Crennan picks the ball up, puts boot to ball. So they're going to go back inside their forward 50. Kirker got a bad bounce, but it's picked up and cleared away from North Geelong. Go back into the middle and coming across the mark has been taken out there by Jewell. Must have been a down the field free kick anyway. He goes quickly into their forward line, passes out in front, can't take the mark. Ball gets out the back. Again, picked up. North Geelong with some numbers back into the hands of Riccardi. Has 3, looks at 4, and he is offline. 3 goals, 2 to that player. 10-3 now. North Geelong 1-1 Werribee. 25, almost 26 gone. Buckley's Entertainment Centre first quarter scoreboard.
Ball's been kicked into the back pocket for the Werribee side. I think that's Gibson there. He looks for a teammate further down. That's Festies on the far side of the ground, just outside of the 50-metre arc, trying to mount something. He's gone back in, though. He's gone back, I think it's to Robinson. He kicks on the left foot into the middle of the ground and finds his teammate there in Taylor. Taylor kicks across the ground. They're going nowhere, but at least they're controlling the ball a little bit better. But Porter tries to get hold of it. A long hand pass from North Geelong comes out the back of the pack to Beecroft. He kicks in board and finds Jackson Jewell, who's been very prominent already, one of their very best midfielders, and now one of the elite midfielders in the competition is Jewell. He kicks long to true centre half forward. There's not a lot of height up there, so he'll be looking for crumbs off the back.
Look at
That's
that.
been provided by Riccardi. He got a quick hand pass to Vaughan and a beautifully weighted kick into the forward line, and he has found a teammate there who I'm not sure who it is.
Purcell again, I reckon. Yeah,
yes, it is Purcell.
Well, that's our 7th contender for the Kempy Read the Play Player of the Day at this point. And we're, 27 minutes into the first term.
So Jordan Purcell, he missed one a little earlier from further out. This time he's 20 metres out directly in front and could become, what would that be, their 7th goal kicker, Dale, out of their 11?
6.
Or 6. So there it is. It goes. Oh, he's missed again. He's got two behinds only. So it's 10-3, 63-117. 28 minutes into the Buckley's Entertainment first quarter. And Robinson kicks out into the back pocket and finds Donnan. Donnan, long, raking kick down the line, and he finds Daly, the big ruckman. He's reluctant to kick normally, but on this occasion he does. But it hasn't really been to effect, just slightly over his teammate's head. Hand pass, quick kick out to Swenninson. He goes down the line and finds Parker again. Immediately wheels round on the right. He fancies himself from here. That is a beautiful, long kick, and there's a mark in the forward pocket to Fazio. He's just been off having a spell, plays on quickly, kicks across his body, and that is another goal to the North Geelong side. 11 goals for 70 to 117. 28 and a half minutes, Buckley's Entertainment first quarter.
All these forward entries are impressive, the marks, the goals and all that, but credit also has to be given to the likes of Zach Schwennis and Charlie Farrell. The way they're able to just control that wall every time they go forward. What do you do if you're Werribee? What do you say if you're Reece Prismal at quarter time?
Well, pretty much what the message should have gone out, I reckon, halfway through the corner was don't worry about getting the ball ourselves. Let's just play man-on-man football, because what they're doing is they're allowing players down the ground to be free, and they're just chipping over the top. Players are coming forward. They've got to learn to stay back. So ball back in the middle of the ground now. Carlton's has control of it. He is wrapped up. Go back to the umpire. So it's going to be another ball up right in the middle of the ground. Again, ball from the contest. It's led to bounce. This time Daly gets it over the top, back into the hands of Culliver on the right boot. He goes back into their forward line. And Marcus not taken. Picked up out there by O'Brien. Went outside and handballed to his teammate and George. Put a bit of teammate pressure on there. Vesty comes in, puts a tackle on. Umpire comes in and says the ball is not coming out to my liking. Let's hold the things up, and a ball up will take place just at the top of the 50-metre arc. This time at least it's in the forward half for the Werribee side. And again, it's not getting out of there too quickly. Umpire's going to call for it back. So another ball up in a similar position to last. So Ruckman both at it. Davis this time gets the ball. Little boot goes back into the middle of the ground. Riccardi, clever little tap towards Vaughan. Coming through, he was held without the ball. Picked up by Parks into the hands of Farrell over the top. Nicely weighted kick. Again, they've got support all over the ground. Smith was there, couldn't pick the ball up. Taylor's there, he's tackled. Does come out of the contest, picked up out there, so North Geelong back towards Farrell. Player out the back, they'll use him in Swenison. Can't get hands on the ball. Again, there's some plenty of heavy work being done out there. No clear disposal, and it's going to come back. Now there's a high tackle or something. It was indication. And there's a player on the ground here, so we're just waiting. Umpire's call for a delay in the game.
I think it might be Blake Taylor.
Yeah, he got that tackle when he came through that contest. The player's allowed to go on now.
Well, sure, there's no...
The umpire's control. He's now saying that it's outside the area. So Luke Parker's got the ball, so they've been able to keep the ball rolling now. He looks up and goes into their forward line. Another smart kick, but the mark wasn't taken there. Numbers around the contest once again. Ball goes back towards Parker. Looking for some options running past. Has one in Brockenshire. Handballs outside. Beecroft. Little chip wide. Goes towards Desnoy, and he takes a mark outside 50. We're ticking over some time here, but there has been 12 goals kicked. Desnoy quickly into the pocket. A little bit wide, and that has gone out of bounds. And there will be a throw-in which will take place, or was that out of bounds in the full? No, out of bounds in the full. Free kick goes to the Werribee side.
Talking this morning about a lot of 36-plus minute quarters this year, and I think based on the 12 goals, we're probably going to see another one or something like it. Now it's come out to Robinson for Werribee. Kicked that beautifully, and Paddy Arsh couldn't quite hang on, but that was another contender for the market today. He's got it back again. Quick hand pass to Vesty, not going anywhere. And there we go. Against all the odds at 32 minutes only. The siren has sounded for quarter time to end the Buckley's entertainment first quarter. 11-4-70 North Geelong. Werribee 1-1-7 Dale. Give us some goal kickers.
Yeah, goal kicks at this stage of the ground. There's only 6 of them, but Oscar Riccardi with 3, and 2 each to Parker, Fazio and Habib, and one to Cooper Parks. And the Werribee goal kicker at this stage is Kerr. And that's where we sit at this stage. 11 goals for. Probably the best quarter of football I think I've ever seen for some time at this level of football. And that will be hard to counteract. We're going to take a short break, come back and get scores from around the ground. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Scoreboard here at Osborne Park, and they will be very, very happy sponsors if this continues. North Geelong 11-4-70, Werribee 1-1-7 at quarter time. Before we get into it, Alex, have you got round the grounds there in front of you, because there's some interesting games elsewhere?
Well, yeah, just as it's loading, it was the Geelong West game that I believe Dale said they're every chance to get their second win today, and based on their quarter time score of 5-3-33 to the Hawks 2-5-17, we might have to move this truck one suburb down the road. Anarchy had lots of the ball up at Footrock Flats, but 0-6 to East Geelong's 2-2-14. Costly kicking there. Bannockburn 4-2-26 to Belmont Lions 3-3-21 midway through the second quarter there. We know the scores here. Winchelsea 4-3-27 to Belpost Hill 2-2-14. You'll be happy there, Rob. And finally, Thompson 7-2-44, 1-2-8. Now, I think most of us thought that would be the first of the breakout results this afternoon, but enter the North Geelong Football and Netball Club. What a start we've just witnessed.
Yeah, Dale, is there anything you can put your finger on? I mean, they got away, they were confident, slick ball use, but for a long period of time, it was just that Werribee couldn't get their hands on it.
Werribee couldn't get their hands on it, and North Geelong were just able to find space. It was like they had an extra player out there, to be honest, because Werribee were confused whether they should go forward or back to try and defend, but their system they had going, as I said, I know sides can get on runs, but when you have that, like it was in that first quarter, it is very, very hard to stop. So they've done it very impressively. Probably, as I said to you, halfway through the quarter, the only thing that Werribee could have done was just played a man-on-man situation and not worried about even winning the ball, but just trying to control slowing the game down. So at least it made it a contest one-on-one. So, look, as I said, they're lucky enough it happened at quarter time, because they can outscore them each quarter and get themselves back into the game, but they've got to be able to do that. Now, to do that, they've got to turn around the state of play, and that takes a fair bit of doing, because North Geelong are playing with as much confidence as I've seen the side play with, and they've got to take that away from them. So I don't know how you do that other than win ball after ball and do exactly what they've done to them and make them be more, I suppose, mindful of what they need to be doing on their side of the game rather than just playing with a free will.
Alex, they've got to have a lot of faith in their coach and their system, because at this stage they're looking at the scoreboard. They can't win. How are they going to sustain the capacity to keep working hard for the next three quarters, knowing that there's no prize, really?
I think just don't get sucked into those chip kicks, those uncontested marks. What Dale said, play that man-on-man footy. They should have started doing it 10 minutes in as opposed to maybe 25 minutes in. But the stat I've uncovered for you guys, North Geelong's highest score against Werribee was 179 to 78 in 2001. But guess who won the flag that year, boys? Werribee Centrals. So there's a little omen for the Centurions just to help them out if they're still listening.
I tell you what, looking at a scoreboard like that, any stat like that is important, Alex. You've got to hang your hat on something.
Exactly.
Okay, it's the Elders Insurance second quarter here at North Geelong, and Dale Smith, he is the doyen of this commentary team. He's going to start us off again. The umpire's still waiting on, I don't know what he's waiting on.
Just a few kids just to get underneath the fence, mate. I think that's all he's waiting on.
And, we'll soon be underway. It's still a beautiful day. It's hardly a breath of breeze. The ground bathed in sunshine. It's just perfect weather for Australian rules footy, and we are getting a showcase of it right here.
Just take that little chill out of the air and it'll be even better. Be 28 and sunny and Werribee, don't worry about that, because I heard that twice today. So ball is in the air, and Ruckman go at it once again. Actually, both Ruckman had a hand on it. Ball runs towards centre wing, can't be picked up. McDonald had it and lost it. Desnoy had it, he did the same, put it down. Carlton on hands and knees, tried to feed out to Daly and did so. Into the half-forward line they go, so there's an opportunity. They've started with a positive movement. Ball goes towards their half-forward line, but it's the North Geelong fence. We'll see the ball go over the boundary line. There's a free kick being given. And it's going to go to, I thought he indicated it was going to be a free kick, and it is.
Saliba.
So Saliba's got the ball. I'm not too sure what the infringement was, but he's got the ball out there on the far side. So he can now deliver the ball long into their forward line. Mark required down there. Ball comes out the back. Vesti has it. Kicked it off the ground. Actually, I think Kirker might have got his boot to it.
He did, yeah.
And he has got his second goal of the afternoon, and that is the second of the game for Werribee. They move to 2-1. They trail North Geelong on 11 goals for. And as I said, Kerr has got his second. We've gone just on 1 minute. Elders Insurance, second quarter.
Exactly what they needed for confidence, Alex.
It was. It's funny, you look at that 0-4 start for Werribee, and it was their forward line that let them down. Today, you can't really blame the forward line because the ball just hasn't been down there. So if we can get a few back-to-back centre clearances in favour of the Centurions, this will show what the likes of Kirker, Saliba, even Prismal can do when the respect's on the line.
So back in the middle, Davis and Daly. Daly definitely gets that one down to Culliver. He couldn't get away from the centre. And that's a great tackle by Kerr, who's caused the spillage. McDonald goes in. He can't get it. The much more desperate attempt there by the Werribee side. It's come over the back of the pack to Vesti. He kicks across his body, and that's their second within 30 seconds. And some of their key players. Kerr started it. McDonald was involved in getting it out of the pack, and then it was Crennan and Culliver who forced the ball forward, and then Vesti picked up the crumb, slapped it on his boot. A second in a minute. Very, very important. So we're now 3 goals, 19. North Geelong 11-4, 70. And we're just 2.5 minutes into the Elders Insurance second quarter.
Well, just the composure by Crennan there to set that up. He's not panicking one bit. It's only 1 quarter of footy in, and he just picked the right player on the run, and there's back-to-back goals for the Centurions.
So back in the middle once more. Again, Daly ball out towards Swinnerton. This time he intercepts it, goes long into their half-forward line. Coming out of Bibb in front, ball's allowed to hit the ground. Taylor's there, tries to win possession of it, couldn't pick the ball up. It's continued to be pushed forward, but they win through Donnan, go out that side to McDonald, and he goes back on his left boot, goes back inside. Got towards Carlton. He couldn't just take the mark, went over the top of his head, but at ground level he did nicely. Ball now in the hands of Culliver, long into the forward line. Prismal can take the mark and does so. So right on forward 50. He's got a player short. Pattiage over the top. Good use, and he will take the mark and line up for his first goal of the afternoon and the 4th for the Werribee side. So they're doing exactly what North Geelong did to them in the first quarter. So the breeze out there must be massive, I reckon.
I just feel bad for the crowd on the city end. They haven't seen any action this game. This is it.
So Pattiage from about 25 metres out, almost directly in front. Comes in, kicks a goal, and umpire doesn't move all that far. He has got his first, and the 4th now for the Werribee side. They move to 4-1, 11-4 to North Geelong. 3 minutes gone. Elders Insurance second quarter.
Now, I paid tribute to Crennan with that last entry there at composure. Reece Prismal, he could have rushed that kick, but he would have put Paddy Arsh under lots of pressure. He actually told his other forward option to split. You're a 2-on-1. Work as senior footballers here and actually divide that defender. That's why they got an uncontested mark right in front of goal, and that's why the Centurions have got the last 3 on the board.
That's 14 goals in 36 minutes to the left of screen. So, Dale, it'd be fair to suggest that there is a hurricane blowing, but if you're listening at home, I can assure you there is not a breath of wind here at Osborne Park. It is just good footy to watch. So back in the middle, this time Davis does get it. He gets it in the path of Desnoy. Hand passes out further, and that's clever play from North Geelong that has released Jasper George. He kicks down the line. Riccardi, who's already kicked 3, takes a mark, plays on, lobs it into the square. Great defence there from Werribee to clear the ball away. That was a very clever play by Gibson. He kicks it out onto the half-back flank, and the umpire has found a free kick. And I think, is that going to D'Elia? No, it's Kerr, who's going to take it on the half-back flank. His man on the mark is right on the 50-metre arc. Kerr is going to go a long way backwards. He's kicked it back into the square, and Robinson has taken the mark. He goes out wide and finds Kilby. Kilby now kicks down the line. He'll be looking for Vesti, the smallest player on the ground, almost takes the ball. Ball goes out of the back of the pack to Habib. He misses his man further down the line there in Pask, and it's over the boundary line right in front of the adoring fans here at the Keith Barclay Oval for a throw-in. North Geelong in attack, leading by 45 points, 6 minutes into the Elders Insurance second quarter. The ball's thrown in. At the wrestle in the ruck, the umpire says, I presume shepherding or holding, and North Geelong to take the free kick. Oh, that's Desnoy. That's not the way I read it. I don't know what you blokes thought, but he's got the free kick.
Paddy Daly will be filthy with that, but he's remained disciplined, just gone straight back to that last line of defence and hoping to knock the ball back in. Desnoy, though, very, very capable set shot in this competition. Very unlucky not to make last year's Team of the Year.
So he's kicking 45-degree angle. He kicks from bang on 50 across to the left. Pack forms in the front of the goal square. It's Werribee going to pick up a crumb. Hand passes very quickly out. Ball slapped onto the boot. North Geelong have one possession there through McDonald. He kicks back into the forward line. Desnoy grabs the crumb. Ripped out of his arms by Prismal. Players tackled. Werribee player thrown to the ground there. No free kick. Gibson gets the ball across into the back pocket and McDonald marks. His left foot kick finds Crennan just short of the centre square. Still in defence, Werribee. Trying to work their way out of here. De Leon's made some move right out here on the wing. The ball's going to get to him eventually, but he's pushed out of the road very, very easily by Habib. McDonald for North Geelong is grabbed very, very high by Kilby, and he'll take a free kick right in front of us, right in front of the interchange gates here on centre wing at North Geelong. So McDonald
from the ground
has the umpire has found a 50-metre, and I think that is a player. That is a player who is deemed to have been in the zone, even though he was heading to the interchange bench. But in this day and age, that doesn't seem to matter.
I saw enough of that last night. We don't really need that in this, surely.
Surely not. Anyway, it's McDonald for North Geelong wearing the number 21 jersey. He's going to have a shot for goal. 45-degree angle, just slightly closer than where Desnoy was a little while earlier. He'll be about 10 metres shorter from when he kicks. So he should not have any trouble with the distance, but it's off to the left again. Big pack of players form, punched away by Robinson. He gets it back after a hand pass to McDonald, slaps it on the boot out to centre wing, but intercepting there for North Geelong is Kaya Henderson. He's waiting to drive the ball back into the 50-metre arc, running around to his right now. It's a 9-9, giving his forwards a chance to jump at it, and the man who did that was Jackson Jewell. Couldn't quite hold it, comes over to the back. Fazio's tackled immediately, dragged to the ground. The umpire says that will be mine. So we're 25 metres out from their goal, directly in front, where the ball up will take place. Werribee defenders begin very nervous, panic mode at the moment. It's Daly takes a big swipe, misses it completely. Culliver gets a hand pass in the direction of Donnan. That player goes in ferociously. I think the umpire has seen that. That was Kilby. He has attacked that footy with a great deal of ferocity, but unfortunately there was a man between him and the footy, and that was Jackson Jewell, and he was whacked high, and the umpire has said, you got a free kick, son. 25 metres out on a slide ankle. He will line up for North Geelong's 12th. Did you not see any trouble with that free kick, Alex? I didn't think it was anything other than a free kick.
Nah, look, the second time they paid it against Kilby, the first one was a little bit reckless, but that one just a bit irresponsible. Thankfully for the Centurions, one behind there. I will tell you guys at West Oval, scores are level now. Geelong West are still 5-5-35, so are the Hawks. And up at Anarchy, the Roos, 3-7-25, now hold a 10-point lead over East Geelong, 2-3-15.
So the ball comes in, and it's now in the hands of Gibson on the half-back line. He decides to go back towards centre wing. Mark not taken out there, comes through to Kerr. Didn't take clean possession. Beecroft over the top, goes to Pask. Pask into the half-forward line. Mark has been taken out there. Robinson handballs back out the back door and goes to Culliver. Across the ground they go. Player by himself out there. McDonald in some space. Now they need to find the next link in the chain. Can they go towards centre wing with a kick? No, they can't, because the Vaughan has stepped in and taken the mark. Well, he's looking for Houlihan, but just didn't have the depth on it. He goes back into their forward line. Ball out the back. Habib up, takes the mark. Thought he might have kept going, but he's going to go back and deliberately look at his fourth goal of the afternoon. Been at his very best today, Mitch Habib.
They've settled back, Dale, after that shaky start to the quarter where Werribee kicked the first three.
Yeah, they've just been able to maintain or slow things down and win possession back themselves. So Mitch Habib, as we said, has got 3 for the afternoon. Looking at goal number 4 from about 30 metres out. Kicks from 35. Mitch Habib steps in and settles things down for North Geelong. Kicks that goal, looks nice off the boot. Umpire does not move. He has got his 4th of the afternoon. The 12th now for North Geelong. They are 12-5. They lead Werribee on 4-1, and we've ticked over 11 minutes, Elders Insurance, second quarter.
I think you break down the numbers. North Geelong were kicking a goal every 2.5 minutes in that first term. Took him 11 minutes in this second term, but again, just as Habib's lining up, you can just see every single player getting ready for scenario A, B or C, and that's what's made North Geelong this powerhouse side. Of course, 8-1 record going into today with a percentage of 154, but I think there'll be a few more numbers added to the where they sit on the ladder come this afternoon.
You would think so. We're in the middle again. Gilbert has given Daly a bit of a spell. He's up in the ruck against Paskey, wins it straight down to Crennan. He slaps it on his boot very quickly. It's gone forward, not necessarily with any great system for Werribee, but it's in there. Forward line, that's important. The North Geelong defence through Henderson has grabbed the ball. It's been dragged down. The umpire's forced a ball up. Gilbert again, this time gets it down to Porter. He kicks further forward for the Werribee side. Coming onto the ball there is Carlton. He hand passes it forward looking for Patiage. North Geelong win possession and take it over the boundary line. There'll be another throw in. It was Taylor there before for Werribee who drove that ball forward. So it's right in front of the famous Alf Clark cricket nets. What an absolute legend he has been at the Lara Football Club and North Geelong Cricket Club's Alf Clark. It's Gilbert whacks it it was Prismal who went into the ruck there and whacked it forward for Werribee, but tackled and immediately dragged down is not De Leon. It was actually Tyson Stevens. We haven't called him much this afternoon. It's Prismal again, gets up in the ruck, tries to win the ball himself, but he's pushed offline. Coming through the ball very cleverly, there is Saliba. He's away. He's got great skills. He gets it on the right foot, and he's kicked a goal for the Werribee side. Well done, young fella. We know what a skillful player this lad is, and when he's got room to move, he's got beautiful foot skills, and that was right through the middle there. Fifth for the afternoon. 5-131, North Geelong 12-577. That's the Elders Insurance scoreboard here at Keith Barclay Oval.
Now, Brad's going to keep the camera on him because he's in trouble here, guys. He's in big trouble. As soon as he's kicked it, I reckon he's landed on the right foot. And I don't know, is it a right hammy or what am I looking at?
I reckon it's his ankle, by the way, he's wobbling.
Yeah, I'd say it'd be something to do with his ankle. Or
yeah, he was hit pretty, not unfairly, but he did cop a fair bit of attention just as he kicked the ball, so he might have landed awkwardly on that ankle. And they can't afford not to have him because he's a sort of excitement machine that can generate some scores for them. Anyway, we're back in the middle of the ground there. The ball very cleverly pushed into the path of Swenninson by Habib, but he couldn't break clear. The umpire has said too high, McDonald, and McDonald for the Werribee side will take the free kick just on the back of the centre square. Kicks very, very wide across looking for Vesti. He hand passes wider to Crennan. Crennan kicks short down the line but can't find his teammate. It runs over the boundary line. In fact, on the full, and North Geelong win back possession. Gets it to Thomas Swenninson, middle of the ground on his own. His short kick finds Jackson Jewell. They still haven't quite got to the middle, but they have won the ball back, and that's very important. Jackson Jewell hand pass to teammate. That's Parker. Can't quite get up to the lofty heights he did before, but Riccardi's run onto the crumb, had a shot for goal, and the umpire likes to look at that, and it is fourth for the afternoon. He joins a bib on 4, and that takes North Geelong to 13 goals 5. Werribee Central's on 5 goals 1, and they've opened up that little bit of a gap again.
Well, we saw Oscar Riccardi do some pretty special stuff the first quarter against Anarchy a few weeks ago. He's proved consistent to have 4 goals in the first half, but be really efficient with the footy, not just kicking those goals, but also setting up teammates like Fazio, Parker, and even Pask. Goes to show how much of a future he's got in this competition. I hope at an even higher level.
So back in the middle we go once again. Ball thrown up. Again, it wasn't contested there by Davis. It gets out and it's going to be coming forward. I would have thought Swenninson will drive it long. A little short kick into the half-forward line. Made it difficult for Purcell, but he kicks the ball further afield. Robinson comes out. Parker manoeuvred the body nicely. Tapped the ball further afield. Again, bounces back into the hands of Riccardi. In and out of traffic. Goes back to Vaughan. Vaughan off a step. Looks up. Goes long at goal, but he is offline and through for a minor score. So 13-6 now, North Geelong, 5-1 to Werribee. The ball in quickly, the kick gone out, and it's been intercepted there by Parker. Not too sure who he's looking at, but he goes quickly into Purcell. And Purcell now from 30 metres out will have another opportunity to go back and kick his first goal. His first 2 tries today weren't successful.
Just like that little bit of fizz they had has been defizzed, Alex. They're Werribee players again just starting to look at the ground a bit, chins on chest, as North Geelong have won control of the game in the last little while.
Purcell, as we said, has got the ball. Kick of about 25 to 30 metres. Kicks that goal. That's a better one because the umpire has not moved this time. He has got his first, and the 14th now for North Geelong. They are 14-6, and they lead Werribee on 5 goals, 1. We have gone almost 17 minutes, Elders Insurance, second quarter.
Well, I suppose if you're Peter Riccardi and North Geelong, post-quarter time, it's really just an audition on who keeps their spots in the side when you got Paramanov to come back in. Fisher was the best midfielder last time these two sides played. He's off on concussion protocol, and then their 2 targets on each end. Paddy Cleary, who I still think was fullback of my team of the year last, he's not playing today. And, well, Blake Miller, I think you both agree, he goes pretty all right as well.
He does indeed. Daly's back on the ground. He wins it with 2 hands out into the path of Vesti, but running onto his Desnoy. Hand passes over the top to McDonald. McDonald tried a little flashy hand pass, but he somehow won the ball back. And it's North Geelong through Vaughan, kick along, but it's that Robinson safely marks in the back line for Werribee, gets it across to Donnan. Donnan plays on, but that is very cleverly intercepted by a bib. Hand pass across to teammate there, gets it across to Riccardi. Riccardi on the run, but that's his first miss for the afternoon. 1 point only.
Third miss.
Is he had that many shots at goal?
He's had 7 shots at goal.
7 shots at goal in the first half.
Oh my goodness gracious me. This is an absolute shellacking. 91 plays 31, 8.5 minutes into the Elders Insurance second quarter. It's Michael Culliver has the ball in the goal square for the Werribee side. He chips it across and finds a teammate on the far side of the ground there, and that being
Robinson.
Robinson, was it?
Yep.
Habib breaks clear, hand passes to Riccardi. Riccardi's hand pass was on the way back, but was intercepted. Robinson's got his hands on it. Quickly slapped on the boot there by Teros. He kicks it forward. Fazio hand passes to no one in particular. Desnoy comes out, tries to pick it up. It's Riccardi again.
No.
That's a banana, but just falls a little bit short of target. Through for 1 point only. That takes things to 14-9. So McDonald across into the back pocket. Finds Porter. Porter can't control the ball first, but he gets a second go at it, then kicks down the line looking for a Kerr. Goes over the back of the pack, over the boundary line for throw-in. Centre wing, far side of the ground. 92 plays 31, 19.5 minutes. Elders Insurance second quarter. North Geelong in complete control of this contest again after a slightly wobbly start. Werribee come out and kicked the first 3 goals of this second half after being 10 goals. Second quarter after being 10 goals down at quarter time, which was a good effort, but they've lost the fizz already. Hand pass back to Crennan. He gets it away to Kerr. He bursts away. Short pass. He's to a teammate just a little bit over his head. Coming through again, trying to win the ball is Padillage. He gets around on his left foot, kicks long back into the forward line, but coming out to take a relieving mark there is Kaya Henderson. In the goal square for North Geelong, trying to mount something else. They can do so with great confidence. They're all playing pretty well at the moment. That's a lovely kick. Finds Desnoy. Hand passes to Vaughan, I think that is. Goes down looking for Davis. Davis and the other big man, Daly, have a scrap for the ball. It's like 2 giraffes looking for it. The umpire has found that there's a free kick to Daly. Davis allegedly hanging on to him without the ball. So that typical hand pass from him to Robinson. Long left foot raking kick. That is almost a free kick for going up too early there, but the umpire let it go. That was Blake Taylor from Werribee went up. He seemed to have to hover to wait for the ball. Couldn't hold it when it arrived, but the umpire said all was okay. Comes out the back of the pack to Culliver. Gets it to Crennan. Those 2 names we've called a lot this afternoon. The umpire said you didn't correct... no correct disposal there, Crennan. So it's Desnoy for North Geelong will win the free kick. Kicks short to Jewel. Jewel across into the centre of the ground and finds George. And pass to Vaughan. Back to George. His kick misses the mark. Vesti is beaten by a horrible bounce. North Geelong defence pick it up again through Reynolds. He kicks down the line, but poorly. Werribee players trying to desperately get hold of it, but some great defensive work there. I think that is by Pask has forced the ball up. Yes, it's Pask who gets up last with the ball. And the umpire will ball up right in front of our commentary position here. Daly over the back. Crennan picks up the crumb. He gets it across to Culliver. Culliver back to Crennan. Crennan kicks up looking for Prismal. He was held. The umpire sees that. Wasn't much doubt about that at all. So Reece Prismal for the Werribee side has the ball on centre wing. Looking for options. Should be play on by now. Gets it to Crennan, although he misses him. And a ball is forced over the boundary line. Just a little comedy of errors there. Prismal screaming at his forwards to lead more.
Not even going to comment on that. What I will tell you, boys, is 7-4-46 Winchelsea leading. Belpost Hill 5-5-35, but 2 Nick Costello goals has just brought the Panthers back into that game.
Daly left hand slap. Jackson Jewell for North Geelong runs on it. He crossed to Vaughan. Vaughan to McDonald. McDonald down the line, but that is a great relieving mark there by Donnan to Culliver. Hand passes and releases Kilby. A long kick by Kilby. He'll be looking for Prismal. Gets one hand on it. No, Prismal's got it now. His left foot kick slaps it forward. Kerr needs to get there first. Does a very good job to win that front position, but the boundary line beats he and Beecroft. We'll have a boundary throw in 20 metres round from the line. 61 points in arrears are Werribee Centrals, but it's in their forward line. They'll be desperate for a goal out of this little foray forward. That is got to be a free kick. The umpire says no, we'll let it go. Jewell wins possession for North Geelong. He drives it forward. Houlihan comes out, tries to pick up the ball, tackled immediately. Umpire says going nowhere. Ball it up. We're just heading towards the 24-minute mark in this Elders Insurance second quarter. Still 61 points. The margin in favour of North Geelong. Davis punches the ball clear, but Culliver picks it up for Werribee, gets it on the left foot, goes over the back of the pack, coming forward there. Ball bobbles back towards... that is a very, very clever kick off the ground. I didn't see who that was. Did you pick that up? Was it Kerr? He's getting a lot of plaudits.
Yep. Kerr, is he their first multiple goal kicker? Or
Got three.
He's got 3 now. Yeah, it was just a flurry of players there, and there's obviously a boot on the ball. It's got it over back for their 6th. They go to 6-1-37. North Geelong are lots, 92. And we're 24 minutes into the Elders Insurance second quarter.
And good news for Werribee fans. We just see coming off the bench now at the bottom of your screen is Cam Saliba. So he's running back into the forward line now.
He's sure you call that running.
Well, he's hobbling back in. It was the right ankle that we were worried about before, but you never know. He kicks a few goals, gets his confidence up, and he'll worry about the pain come 5 o'clock this afternoon.
So Davis and Daly back in there and doing the ruck work. This time Daly gets the ball down, heads back towards centre wing. Carlton led in the race for the ball, picked the ball up nicely, got in and out of trouble now, and got the handball outside. He put it out towards Vesti. His kick was smothered off the boot. Coming back towards Davis, he picks the ball up, handballs out the back. Swenson on the left boot, drives it ball back into their half forward line. Mark taken out there, Purcell. So he'll want to move the ball quickly, asking for someone to come at him. Not too sure who that player was. Might have been Parker. He was up and down. Umpire said
they're going to pay it.
Is that they've called for the game to go on, and Pask will finish the result anyway. Yep. But that was a sensational effort there, and that moves North Geelong now to 15 goals, 6-1 to Werribee, and we have gone 25. Elders Insurance second quarter.
Well, we talk around the grounds. North Melbourne 11-5-71, leading the Blue Baggers 4-7-31. Grubby's having the worst day of his life today, I reckon.
If he's paid that a mark, how can he pay advantage?
I've got no idea. But it was a very
tunnelling.
Tunnelling was the call.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be.
Gee, I tell you what, he was up there. That was the good levers I've seen for a while.
Yep.
Tunnelling. Okay.
He was up there for 4 seconds. We just got the notification from air traffic control. But
who eventually kicked that goal?
Pask. Cooper Pask.
Heading towards half-time, 26 minutes in. It's a 61-point lead again to North Geelong, and in the middle again it's Daly and Davis. Davis that time gets it down with a genuine tap forward. Players are running onto the ball. Davis himself in there working like a ruck rover trying to get possession of the footy. He can't. No one else can. The umpire says, give us it here. I'll have another crack at it. Right on the point of the very dead cricket pitch square here at North Geelong. So it's Daly again, but Davis beats him this time. Gets it down to Swenninson. He's not Swenninson. He's might be a Jewel, is it? Who's tackled immediately. The ball's been dragged. Dana, it was Purcell.
Yep.
Third time Davis wins the Patillage comes onto the ball for Werribee. He can't get it away. I think that player might be in a bit of trouble there. He looked very, very dopey after a high hit. I think that might be Vaughan. Yes, he's gone a bit sleepy looking, but he's got up shaking his head. He's won the free kick for a high tackle. And man on the mark is right on the 50-metre arc. I don't know whether he's going to have a crack or look for a shorter option. His shorter option is the one. It's a long raking kick into the forward pocket. Ball goes over the back of the pack. Robinson takes possession. Riccardi wins the ball, but he's tackled immediately. Thrown to the ground, and the umpire said that is out of bounds. Thought he was going to pay a sling tackle there, which he may have been within his rights to do. He was thrown pretty heavily into the ground, young Riccardi. He's already kicked 4 goals this afternoon. So there's the throw-in. Daly to Crennan. We've heard that a lot over the years. Crennan kicks the ball forward to Vesti. He can't win the ball. Out the back again to North Geelong. Swenninson kicks it in. Hand passes inside to Davis. A high kick from him, but marking safely in the back line is Saliba, who's made his way down there looking for to get himself into this game. So he kicks out wide, and that's a very, very nice kick indeed, and finds Stevens for the Werribee side on the half-back flank. He's gone backwards. He's going backwards to Taylor. He's kicked right across the ground. Riccardi's going to pick up a crun. He's going to bounce around, and he's going to kick his 5th goal for the afternoon. Just a little bit of a skill error there. Drop mark. You only need half a chance, and you're as good as Oscar Riccardi, Dale. What a great bit of play from the young fella. His 5th of the afternoon to go with 4 points, Dale tells me. 9 shots at goal, and we're not even at half-time.
Well, it'd be nice to get 9 kicks as a small forward in a game of football, but to have 9 shots at goals is extraordinary. But he is, look, it's just his polish. He's just, he's silky across the ground. He moves really well. And as I said, the first time we saw him out here, probably never got the possessions that we wanted him to, but gee, I tell you what, he's finding his feet very quickly.
Yeah, superb job this afternoon of being an elusive forward. Though Davis again, this time it's intercepted by Carlton. Hand passes to Kerr. Kerr can only get one hand on. Davis follows up, wins second possession. Habib comes through, tackled, but wins the ball back again. Gets it onto the right foot, kicks into the hot spot. Fazio was his target, but trying to get the ball there in front of the pack was Pask. He couldn't hold on to a very, very good attempt. The ball's been dragged down on the ground, and it will be a ball up. It's about 40 metres out from the North Geelong goal. They've already kicked 16 this afternoon. Be desperate for another one before half-time, which can't be too far away. We're just heading towards the 30-minute mark. Crennan gets it onto his foot out towards Stevens. He hand passes inside back to Crennan. Gets it on the boot. He's looking for Prismal. No, it's actually Gilbert who takes a very good mark. Quick hand pass to Kerr. Kerr, he gets around an opponent. Kicks a wobbly-looking Torp. Goes forward looking for McDonald and finds him. And that is a very good mark. He's made his way forward from the other side centre wing, or he's played a reasonable game for the Werribee Centrals this afternoon. And he get his chance to get himself onto the scoreboard here. They're 6-1 currently, thank goodness for good kicking. But the opposition, unfortunately, is 16 goals, 8. So Josh McDonald for Werribee, 45-degree angle, 40 metres out, across the face of goal, 1 behind only. 6-2, 38, North Geelong 16-8, 104, 31 minutes into the Elders Insurance first quarter.
Well, he needs to convert second those quarter, ones because McDonald, he's one of those players who's done the job on Zach Schwennison in the one-on-one since quarter time, but just need those goals to make an impact.
So the ball comes back in quickly and touched just inside the field of play there by Schwennison, and it's gone over, so the umpire will take possession of it. Training wickets here at North Geelong. Davis pushing up to do the ruck work against Daly. Player out the back if they want to scoop the ball that way. That's what Daly does. Crennan was there, but it's picked up outside there by Houlihan. Gives it to Kerr. Steps around one, steps around two. Little banana, but can't bring it back far enough. And he has his first behind of the afternoon. 3-1 for that player. And it's now 6-3 to the Werribee side. 16-8 North Geelong. We've ticked over 31 minutes. Elders Insurance second quarter. Ball just being retrieved from behind the fence.
Gee, if they can keep Patiage and Saliba and Kerr, they're going to have a pretty handy elusive forward line in a year or two. Werribee, not much of a chance to show their skills this afternoon, but Kerr's been very impressive.
You're right, Rob. They need a tall forward, though.
Yeah.
If they're going to make any campaign at St Albans in years to come, they need a tall target. They had Zach O'Halloran last year, but they need one or two in the years to come.
So Thomas Swenninson, who's been very active again this afternoon, his left footer out looking for Davis. He can't hold the mark. Desnoy is taken slightly high to start with, but the umpire says he incorrectly disposed of the ball. And it is Stevens for Werribee. He kicks into the pocket. He's looking for Crennan. He's overshadowed by some taller opponents. It comes to Saliba. He hand passes inside to Gilbert. He can't get it. That's a very clever use of the ball there by Vesti to try and get it out to a teammate. He can't. Crennan picks up the loose ball. He's tackled, dragged to the ground, intercepted there by... the ball comes forward. Pass gets knocked away from him, but he's got good skills to pick up the rebound. Gets it forward, and taking a mark is a Abibi. Hits the ground running and will keep running as the siren blows for half-time, and that was another scoring opportunity for the Magpies. Cut off. 16-8, 104. Werribee 6-3, 39. It's half-time and the end of the Elders Insurance second quarter here. 33 minutes it went. Goal kickers Dale.
Yes, this stage the name Oscar Riccardi with 5, Mitch Abib with 4, 2 to Parker, 2 to Fazio and Pask, and 1 to Purcell. And for Werribee, we have 3 to Kerr, 1 each to Patiage, Vesti, that's Regan, and Saliba. We'll come back with all the scores from around the ground. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
Back to the GDFNL match of the day here at the Keith Barclay Oval at North Geelong. My name's Rob Cameron. Dale Smith and Alex Tagani are with me here in the commentary box, where we have seen North Geelong go to 16 goals 8, 104. Werribee Central 6-3-39. Did not see that coming. We'll figure out what's happened in a moment, but we just want to go quickly round the grounds. In the GFL, Bell Park 45, St Joseph's 22, and the old Bell Parkian sitting behind me is grinning like a cat. Colac 48, Newtown 46. That's a ripper of a game. This is a big shock. Lara and North Shore both winless, but North Shore kicked 8-15-63. Lara 4-1-25. I don't think anyone saw that coming. St Mary's 38, South Barwon 32, and St Albans 28. Leopold 71. The other game is being played tomorrow between Geelong West and Grovedale. Alex, while I go to the other ones, can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts in the first half?
Well, you look at North Geelong, a side that hasn't played in our senior final series for 10 years, and if I was to tell you they kicked 6 goals in the second quarter of any game, that's a good result. But on this occasion, it almost seemed lacklustre, such was their dominance of the first term. So that was the first quarter score, I just wrote it down a second ago, was 11-4-70 to 1-1-7. If you've just joined us, that was the score at quarter time, 11-4-70 to 1-1-7. And as for the players that have impressed so far, well, I just mentioned Alan Moore inside. Luke Parker's playing like he's still in his mid-20s. The amount of marks he's taking up forward. And, of course, Tom Schwennerson and Oscar Riccardi, the ball winners, with Oscar kicking 5 goals as well.
Yeah, and just quickly, the Bellarine games, Torquay 51, Bowen Heads 33, Geelong Amateur 74, Newcombe 40, Ottawarri 43, Port Arlington 42. We'll wait because the ball's about to be bounced. Dale Smith, take us away.
Yes, ball in the air now. Ruckman go at it, comes out to Carlton. Carlton goes to Culliver. Culliver on the boot, goes back into their half-forward line. Coming across, leading the race for the ball there is George. He can't take clean possession. Taken off the ball. Picked up and cleared away there by Stevens. He goes back towards the middle of the ground. Coming through was Vaughan. Eyes on ball. Chipped the ball across the ground. Kick was good and had to be. And the mark has been taken out there by Henderson. So Henderson now has an option across the ground. Goes in the direction of Swennerson. He's up over the back. Didn't take the mark. Was maybe held on to. Got through the contest. Needs to pick the ball up now. Kerker arrives, they win possession back to Werribee side, and they go back into their half-forward line, but standing there by himself is Henderson, and he takes another relieving mark. Will come back, clubber him side of the ground, little chip sideways, goes to Swennerson. He looks up, this is Zach. Long kick goes back into the middle of the ground. Davis comes up at the ball, one hand up, was held by the other, and he's going to be a recipient of a free kick. So the big fella in Tommy Davis in the middle of the ground. Goes out wide. Farrell is pushed forward, takes the mark to attacking side of centre wing. Looks up. Luke Parker comes at him. Ball gets out the back. DeLeon just held him up nicely in the hands of Culliver. He goes across the ground to McDonald, and McDonald takes the mark. And again, this time defensive wings, the far side of the ground. His kick inside wasn't good. Was made good because Culliver went back and collected it. Handball comes outside there from Gibson. They're working the ball, but they've got to take it forward sooner or later. They do so now. Out towards Kerr. He's right on centre wing, looks back inside. His kick goes to centre half forward, but coming across, Marcus taken out there by O'Brien. So O'Brien now at the centre half back position, goes back into the middle of the ground. Coming through, Carlton didn't take the mark. Hits the ground, picked up Beecroft, goes out the back door, went looking for Jewell, but kicked off the ground there by the Werribee side, and it ends up in the hands of Swennerson now. Swennerson picks the ball up. He goes out wide. Seros, he's up, and this time takes a mark. Hit the ground. He's up and running. He's got some spring in the legs today. Outside to Vaughan. Vaughan now looks up. Little chip up over the top. Player in space by himself. His pass. Plenty of room. Plenty of time. Looks up. Looks at goal. Kicks, and is offline. Through for a minor score. So 2 goals, 1 to Cooper Pask. And now 16-9 to North Geelong. They lead Werribee 6-3. And just on 2.5 minutes gone, P&R Foods third quarter.
De Leon has the ball in the back pocket. That ball is being intercepted there by Habib. But coming through, De Leon picks it up again. The ball is a bit of aerial ping pong going there. Carlton runs on it strongly, grabs hold of the ball, gets it across to Robinson. He's got McDonald on his own on the far side of the ground. Plays on quickly on the left foot, kicks down the line looking for Patiage. He wins it on the first bounce but fumbles, tackled immediately, can't get away. Gets a quick hand pass. McDonald runs onto that very very skillfully. His left footer down the line over the back of the pack. Kerr picks the ball up, kicks it into space, and he finds his coach, Reece Prismal, on the lead. And he will go back and take a shot at goal. He'll be about 45 from when he kicks. On the left foot side, suiting him. He'll curl it round and should kick a goal for his team. So Prismal, very experienced player. He's been pretty handy this afternoon. He provided a lot of physicality when his side were really struggling through the middle of that first quarter. And he's going to have a shot for goal, looking desperately to get his side away in the second half. Leaves his foot very, very nicely indeed. He's kicked that important goal, first of the second half and the 7th for Werribee. And that is on the P&R Foods third quarter scoreboard. 105 plays. It's gone 30-something, 39.
Well, it'll be interesting what his message was to the boys at quarter time. But as I said with Scott Frangos at Geelong West, sometimes you just have to lead by example as a playing coach. And in this third term, Prismal's been leading to the right positions, and there's one extra on the board.
Those last couple of games in Ballerina, both shocks. Anglesey 31, Ocean Grove bottom of the ladder of 51. And Queenscliff have been taking it all before them, 24, but Drysdale back in form on 50.
So back in the middle of the ground we are once again, thrown up by the umpire. Ruckman at it, both had hands on the ball, comes towards Crennan, picked up by Carlton though. He goes in the right boot round the corner, coming across Reynolds, didn't take the mark, picked up Houlihan, shrugged his way out of the contest. Little kick was smothered off the boot, just continued to roll forward, picked up O'Brien, picked up Saliba, goes back towards goal. That's not going to be too bad. I think Kerr's either touched it.
Oh no!
And it is through for a minor score. So it was heading towards a goal. Kerr tried to grab it, but obviously couldn't take it cleanly, and the ball has been touched, obviously, and run through for a behind. So North Geelong now with the duties kicking in. The ball's going to be taken out wide. George takes his distance, kicks long into the middle of the ground. Had good coverage, picked up by Henderson. Swings around on the right boot, goes out wide. Mark will be taken out there by Teros. So he's now quick to play on, goes into their half-forward line, letting up the ball a bit. Good kick. And the mark was taken, so he's outside forward 50. The next kick will be the important one. Can he hit a target? Goes long into the forward line, coming across. Robinson couldn't take the mark, but went back after it once again at ground level, picked up out there. Not too sure who that was. May have been Desnoy. It's going to be one out there. It goes back towards Robinson. He has taken over the boundary line, and there's going to be a ball up, which will take place. Or a throw-in, I should say, which will take place.
Alex, you might know the rules. When does a 20-metre count start from the full-back running out from for a kick-in? Because, my God, he went a long way.
Yeah.
That guy at the other end.
I believe that's the Phil Manasseh rule. Yeah, right?
Yes, fair enough. Boundary throw-in. Daly got it down, but it hasn't gone very far at all, and the umpire's going to come in and have a secondary ball up after that. Players very desperate on top of it. So Daly again, he's going to win again easily. The big height advantage there. Ball's kicked quickly out, but heading towards the boundary line, and it gets there quicker than both McDonald and Henderson could get, and have a boundary throw in. Half forward flank, North Geelong slightly in attack and leading by 59 points, and we're 6 minutes and 20 seconds into the P&R Foods third quarter.
Ball from ruck contest picked up by Davis out. They got boot to ball, but only travelled as far as McDonald, I think. Went to Kerr. Handballs up over the top to Houlihan. He picks the ball up, tried to give the handball back. Was intercepted there initially, but it's into the hands of Kerr again. Went towards Pattiage. Coming through there was O'Brien. Handball from Farrell. Goes back into the middle of the ground, in towards Jewell. Jewell looks up. He goes into their half-forward line. A bib comes across, and he's taken another mark. Great, a mark there. Parker was probably a little bit early because he never had control of it. But he goes back now, and he's going to look to drive the ball long into the goal, or right into the goal square. Mark, 2-on-1 contest down there. Brought to ground by Taylor, picked up by Robinson. Handballs up out of the top. Goes to Donnan, goes back to De Leon. Over the... That's a 9-9 golf shot. That one straight up and straight down, and it's been knocked over the boundary line and will be thrown back in the field of play. So the ball just not too far from those practice wickets, as we said here at North Geelong. Back with the umpire now. Both Davis and Daly still doing the ruck work. Tapped down to the front of the contest. Daly went and got the ball, picked up and kicked around the corner there by Taylor. Back towards Prismal. Beecroft gets a spoil on the ball, but there's a free kick. No umpire said. And there's going to be another ball or throw-in which will take place. So we've gone just over 8 minutes. It is 16-9 to North Geelong, 7-4 to the Werribee Central side.
Ball's thrown in. Davis at the front. Gets an unlikely looking slap down. Thomas Swenninson grabs the ball, gets it to Vaughan. Neat little pass into the middle of the ground. Intercepted by McDonald from Werribee. Plays on quickly. Gets it across to Kerr, but chipping in, taking a very good mark in front of him is Ben O'Brien. Hand passes quickly. The ball gets forward there for the North Geelong side. Who's has got it? That's a quick stabbing kick, and he finds on the lead Parker, who's been very, very active up in the forward line this afternoon. He's already got a couple of goals and a hand in several others. So there's another short pass from Parker, and on the lead there, Oscar Riccardi, who is going to go back and have his 10th shot at goal for this afternoon. He's currently kicked 5 goals, 4, and he's been a very, very active member of that forward line for North Geelong, which has had Werribee under an enormous amount of pressure all day, and that will continue right throughout, I sense. So Riccardi now, he'll kick from 48 metres. Actually, he'll kick from exactly 50. He's kicked very high up. It's not going to make the distance. Big pack fly. Vaughan at the back of the pack has a quick snap at goal, dragged off it before his foot could touch the ball. The umpire says, I'll have a ball up there.
Well, another great opportunity there for Riccardi, but again, credit to Parker. Just tapped the ball forward and away he went. Another uncontested mark to a teammate in the forward 50.
He's done very, very well indeed. Habib wins the ball, tackled immediately, gets it back to McDonald for North Geelong. He kicks back into the hot spot, punched away. Ball's in the clear now. Habib there, he's first, and that's a neat little pass across the face of goal. And I think that's Farrell who has it. Is it? No, Charlie Smith. Was it? Charlie Smith, and he has a long shot at goal, and he has put it right through the middle for the 17th for North Geelong, right on the 10-minute mark of the P&R Foods second quarter. It is 17 goals, 9, and Werribee Centrals are 6 goals, 3, 105 plays 39 in the P&R Foods third quarter.
Call Jordan.
Oh, we still got to pay tribute to all the defenders for North Geelong, not just these forwards taking all these uncontested mark. Of course, Ben O'Brien on Kerr. What a fantastic one-on-one intercept mark that was. The 2 number 8s playing on each other, and like we saw last night in the AFL, another goal caused from a turnover.
Plenty of them.
Back in the middle once again, ball from Daly, goes back and tries to collect his own ball at ground level, did so, tried to get out of the contest, put it down, may have been a free kick against him. Coming through now is George, I think it was, that got the ball into their half forward line. Luke Parker leads in the race for the ball, clean pick up, looks to give it away, swings back on the right boot, goes back inside towards Swenninson, good spoil from behind by McDonald. Swenninson on the left boot, he goes back towards goal.
Oh, look at that!
Distance. Yes, it has, and he gets his first of the afternoon, and the 18th now for North Geelong. They are 18-9. They lead Werribee on 7 goals, 4, and we have gone 11 minutes. P&R Foods third quarter.
That is just sensational. Thomas Swenninson, he's a Whitley medal contender this season. In his 100th game, just nails one off of one step. Big day for the family with past Players' Day, and the Magpies are off. Well, they're heading towards a 100-point margin win.
And Tom Davis has limped off the ground. It's not going to make any difference to the result, but it might be if he's got a long-term injury for the club, because he's been very, very strong for them around the packs today and allowed them to get first use of the footy quite often. The contest with Daly has been well worth watching. So Daly now will be up against Pask in the middle and should have some supremacy, and he does get a double-hander, gets it out in the path of Culliver very, very quickly. He's away for Werribee. Long kick down the line. Be looking for Prismal over the back of the pack. Saliba tries to win the ball, cannot, tackled immediately, forced over the boundary line. We'll have a throw-in right in front of rooms chock full of club legends. Alex, it was great to see so many players back celebrating past glories at this great North Geelong Footy Club.
Yep, North Geelong and East Geelong both to celebrate their 150 years next year. So when you've got a head start on your neighbouring clubs, and there's certainly a fair amount of silverware in your club rooms.
Ball very cleverly placed on there to Riccardi. That was, I think it was Henderson who wheeled it off to him. It's gone to Farrell. Farrell across to Fazio. Fazio runs into an open goal and has kicked another one. Looked like it had faded across, but the goal umpire said that's full points. That's 19 goals, 9, 123 to 6 goals, 3, 39. This is just getting worse and worse and worse for the visiting Werribee side, heading towards the 100-point mark, and these boys are up and about and full of confidence down here.
Well, I'll say it for the 20th time this afternoon. That was a contender for the Kempy Read the Play of the Day. Fantastic little knock on just there, State of Origin style, and even though Luke Parker probably flirted with form, sort of playing on, sort of not, Johnny Fazio, we said it in the pre-game, capable forward, and how many goals is that for him now? Third goal.
You did predict 4, I think, Alex?
I said he'd be capable of kicking 5, so we're on track.
Okay, so we're in the middle of the ground. Daly's gone off for a bit of a spell, and it is now the big fella in the middle there does win the ball away, but North Geelong are going to win possession of the ball. They've come back. Riccardi's been done by a very, very poor bounce. It's a quick kick out of defence, but it's going to be McDonald for North Geelong that gets there first. He sprints away from his opponent. Neat little left foot pass, but it skews off the boot, but gets back to Tom Swenninson. He kicks into the forward line, but coming out and taking a mark is Robinson for the Werribee defenders. He kicks across the face of goal, and coming out to take the mark is McDonald. In the long sleeves, back pocket for Werribee Centrals. He's played a pretty good game this afternoon, despite the massive difference in the scoreboard at this particular stage. But that is a poor kick. Goes to the line, and Jackson Jewell takes a mark, kicks it back into the centre. And Tom Swenninson has the ball. He's going to kick from 50 into a hot spot, but that was a rather unusual kick. He's kicked it straight back to McDonald, who finds his teammate Donnan in the back pocket. And Werribee relieve again.
I think that was Ben O'Brien that took that mark just before, and I say this with no disrespect, boy do his former club need him this afternoon.
Kerr's gone up and taken a mark on centre wing, but he's hit the ground grabbing at his ankle, so he hand passes quickly across to Tyler Crennan. He gets it towards Saliba, but he's worried out of it, but he puts a bit of pressure back on, gets it around the ball to Vesti. Vesti for Werribee runs into goal but misses to the left. And it takes them to 7-5-47. North Geelong and 19-9-1-23. 15 and a half minutes into the P&R Foods third quarter.
So George going back to do the kicking in duties there from the full-back position. He brings the ball out towards Reynolds in plenty of space and some time now to look up and deliver the ball down the ground. Goes towards Mitchell Bibb, takes the ball just at the defensive side of centre wing. Goes back inside, back towards Swenninson. This is Tom. He loads up and goes long into their half-forward line. Purcell's out in front. Ball gets to the back of the contest, coming through. Vesti was there, but he doesn't pick the ball up. North Geelong arrive with some numbers now and force the ball over the boundary line. Throw-in will take place.
It's rather unusual after that magnificent goal from Tom Swenninson. He's had 3 possessions since, and they've been unusually poor by his standards. So I don't know if he's still flying high from the previous goal.
So the ball from the ruck contest again comes back to the front of it. It was in the hands of Houlihan, been tapped back to the boundary line. Crennan has it now. He goes back towards centre wing. Mark not taken out there, but O'Brien has it. Went out the back, had support there again in Reynolds. Looks up and goes back into the middle of the ground. Farrell's going to be the target. Took the mark and played on through the middle of the ground. He goes. Had one bounce, had his second. Looks up and goes into the forward line.
50.
That could be down the line, and it will be.
Most definitely.
And Luke Parker will be the recipient. So he will go back now and have a look at his third goal of the afternoon. Definitely well within range. And from about 40 metres out, not much angle to work with him against him here. Luke Parker should see this through. Steps in now, kicks that goal. Oh, and he's hit the post. Drifted at the last minute and through for a minor score. So now they move North Geelong to 19 goals 10 and Werribee 7 goals 5.
So that is a shocking kick coming out of defence by Stevens for Werribee Central's out of bounds on the full rod underneath the scoreboard that shows 124 to 47, 17 and a half minutes into the P&R Foods third quarter. Tom Swenninson has the ball for North Geelong. That's another kick that missed the target into the forward line. Coming out, Gilbert gets it, kicks it forward for Werribee. Vesti hand passes back inside, but that's a very poor bounce. Oh, that is a throw, which the umpire did not see. Beecroft has taken the mark, and he's the ball's gone back to the middle of the ground, and Vaughan's taken the mark for North Geelong. I was a bit nonplussed by that. I'm not quite sure how the umpire missed that. Anyway,
karma prevailed there.
It's Cooper Vaughan who has the ball, and he kicks back across goal, and I think that's Reynolds who has it in the far side back pocket. He stabs it back into the middle of the ground, and I think that's Vaughan again.
Yep.
So Vaughan now across to Tom Swenninson. We've just got the ball back into the square. Swenninson kicks it to brother Zach. He's away. The redhead kicks into the pocket, looking for Riccardi over the top of his head. But he very cleverly waited for the ball to hit the ground. Couldn't get away. But Werribee defence very, very skillful there, trying to get it in, but Riccardi picks up a crumb, kicks it forward again, and that is a quick kick forward there, but unfortunately only 1 point for North Geelong. 19-11, 125, Werribee 7-5, 47, 19 minutes, P&R Foods third quarter. Got a bit lost there. Riccardi was just mesmerised by his skills. Presumed his teammate was going to drop, his opponent was going to drop the mark, and just waited at the bottom of the pack, but couldn't quite get away, but kept persisting and eventually won himself the possession. A fine game he's played this afternoon.
Cutler brings the ball in, goes straight up the ground, missed the target. Handball comes back inside. Parker has it once again. Got the handball back outside into the hands of Smith. Gets around one. Tackle was good. Got the handball away. Umpire allowed the play to go on. And now through Robinson. Goes inside. Daly. Crennan. He runs through the middle of the ground. Handball through and went to Carlton. Carlton looks up and's got options across the ground. Had to be a kick with a bit of depth on it. Taylor did nicely to get in front of the contest. Stevens picked it up into the hands of Paddy Arch. Looked up. Put the ball out in front of Tyler Crennan, but got a task out there. Beecroft read that nicely, picks the handball, or goes the handball away, and they deliver the ball back towards centre wing, and Vaughan in space by himself takes the mark. So now they can slow things down if they want to. They've got players out the back, but nothing too much forward working at this stage. So Vaughan now waits for the running option. I think that's Farrell out there on the far side. He is tackled, kicked, the ball goes over the fence, and free kick will go to the Werribee side, and it's going to be Culliver on that defensive side of centre wing. He'll chip the ball back. Kick was okay, mark taken. So Robinson once again with some space. They go back further, this time to Porter. He runs across and will kick across the goal. Again to Kilby. Oh, kick wasn't good. Put him under a little bit of pressure, but he did that nicely. I thought he did it nicely. Riccardi turns up, and he's going to be awarded a free kick for a hold. And, that could be 50.
That could be 50.
And it will be.
Hence slim down for goal number 6.
That was as easy as you were going to get for a 50-metre penalty, that one. Straight up in the air. Riccardi has 5, but I can guarantee that 6 will be coming very shortly.
Well, he had eyes for the footy. As soon as he was held, the hands went up and he caught the umpire's attention, and what a start to his GDFNL senior career.
So Riccardi goes in and he gets his 6th goal of the afternoon, and we'll see the North Geelong side move now to 20 goals 11. They lead Werribee on 7 goals 5. We have gone just over 21 minutes, P&R Foods third quarter.
So just for our Werribee Centrals listeners, and I know there's many of them on 94.7 The Pulse, Saliba was on for about 10 minutes in this third term with the ankle, the concern from the second quarter. He just struggled to move, struggled to leave that 30 metres space from goal, and he's now been off the ground for the last 8 minutes. Whereas for North Geelong, Thomas Davis, their big man, he has been rested for a majority of this third quarter, but I feel like we might see him in the final term.
Yes, he's looking a little bit more flexible at this particular stage. So ball's back in the middle. It's Gilbert. No, it's Daly back in the middle. He wins it down, but running onto the ball for North Geelong is Beecroft. He kicks it out wide. That's Donnan, who does a very good job. Evades a couple of tackles, gets a hand pass out into open space to Vesti. He can't break free, and the umpire is going to throw it up. Right on the 50-metre arc, directly in front of North Geelong's goal. They've been peppering it this afternoon. 31 shots they've had at it. They're looming up for another one. The ball comes through back of the pack. Riccardi comes through, hand passes to McDonald. He drives it forward for the North Geelong side. Desnoy picks it up. He gets it onto a handball kick across the body by Jackson Jewell, and he has kicked another goal. The 32nd shot for the afternoon. 21 goals, 11, 137. North Geelong 7-5-47. 23 minutes into the P&R Foods third quarter.
Just thumbs up, positive reinforcement from all 18 on the ground there. You got Sam Reynolds and Ben O'Brien just high-fiving back in the back line. They might not have had as much to do as they have in recent games, but just the organisation from North Geelong's back six enable the rest of the players to capitalise with shots like that. And credit to Rory Desnoy as well, one of the best goal assists this afternoon.
Big gap here, 90 points. There's a gap of 53 with Thompson over Correa, but all the other games are pretty close. We'll get to them very shortly. Around the grounds, Daly again wins the tap. Crennan is in the path of it, but loses the flow of the ball. North Geelong win it back. Quick hand pass by Vaughan to Desnoy. He bashes it forward, but coming out taking a very good mark is Donnan. He's been a pretty handy player the last couple of weeks for the Werribee side in defence, and he's done a fairly good job this afternoon. To Crennan. Crennan runs away, kicks long across the ground looking for Prismal. He drops what he should have taken. McDonald picks up a crumb. He's tackled immediately, and we're going to have a ball up just inside the 50-metre arc. Werribee Central's this time in attack. 90 points in arrears. Desperate is an understatement that they would need a goal at this stage. Desnoy picks the ball up for North Geelong. Good old-fashioned torp out into space. Running on to that for the Werribee side is Gilbert. He can't get away, and the ball is going to be thrown up again for the Werribee Central's side. Daly wins the ball. He gets it out into the path of De Leon. He hand passes, but intercepted by Desnoy. He kicks forward over the top of his teammate. Gilbert picks the ball up. Hand passes backwards to Stevens. Stevens kicks down the line and finds a very busy Michael Culliver, who's played particularly well again this afternoon. Donnan hand passes to the running Carlton. No, it's Robinson, sorry. Robinson kicks down the line, and that is a very, very good mark. The umpire is going to pay it. Yes, eventually. Very, very good mark indeed by Charlie Farrell. Slips catchy type dive for the ball and just took it above the ground. He kicks back inside, and marking there for the home side is Seros. He gets it back inboard to Jasper George. George now running away for the Magpies, kicks long into the pocket. Be looking for a forward over the top of the pack is Purcell. He kicks it across to Smith, but his hand pass is straight over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in forward pocket for the North Geelong side, leading by 90 points, coming up towards 26 minutes into this P&R Foods third quarter.
Now, we've seen players question the umpires on calls, but Rob, Tommy Schwennerson actually just turned around to the commentary box and asked, is that the mark of the day? That's how much they've enjoyed the Routley's mark of the day coverage that pops on the socials each week.
Magnificent stuff. It's good work that you do on the social media, Alex, promoting this great football league.
And to answer his questions, probably not even in the top 5. That's how good the first quarter was.
So Carlton brings the ball back, and it goes towards centre wing. Over the top is O'Brien. He is tackled. Umpire will come in and take possession of it. So we're still in North Geelong's forward half. Daly pushing down, as I said, past doing the rust work at the present time. Ball comes out of the contest. A little bit of a high fend off there, but
that was brutal.
One bloke's 6 foot, the other bloke's 5 foot. It makes a bit of a difference where you put your hand out, I suppose. So in the hands now, Culliver from defensive side, centre wing, goes long, looking for Kerr. He's up. Did he take it? Yes, he did.
Another one in the Routley's box, Alex.
So Kerr now takes the mark, and he will go with the handball back outside into the hands now of Paddy Arch. Paddy Arch goes in towards centre half forward. McDonald tried to make the spoil, but De Leon was good enough to take the mark and hold on to it. So De Leon now is about 40 metres out, directly in front of goal. And this will be on testing material, I would think. Zach De Leon. Daly, I think, has gone back. I know Prismal's back there. So he comes in now, kicks that goal. Got the height, the distance, and is just offline through for a minor score. So that moves Werribee to 7-6 now, and it's 21-11 to the North Geelong side, and we have ticked over almost 28 minutes in this third quarter, with the kick coming in from Swennerson to find his brother Tom, and not too far from goal. So Swennerson now is going to sell a bit of candy and go round, and on the left boot he's off the outside of the
Wonderful
boot.
pass.
Did that nicely into the hands there of George. So George now, he can slow things down again for North Geelong. A little bit of time taken off the clock. He's got options right back in the goal square. That's where he's going to go to. Beecroft is the player back there by himself. Can transfer across the ground now. Kick would hung up in the air a little bit too long there, but Reynolds did nicely. Took the mark now. Creates some space for himself in front. Goes long out towards centre wing, and the mark will be taken out there. Cooper Vaughan made good ground and took the mark and chipped it back inside. George has pushed up the ground. So now he runs, carries the ball, takes his first bounce, looks up, delivers the ball into their forward line. Davis is up, ball gets out the back, and it's picked up out there when handball goes back from Porter. I think it was. It actually wasn't. It was Gibson. Picked up, kicked towards goal.
The fist went straight up as soon as he kicked it.
Must be Purcell, I reckon, that's got that. It was, and he has now got his second goal of the afternoon, the 22nd for North Geelong. 22-11, they lead Werribee 7-6, and we have gone almost 29 and a half minutes. P&R Foods third quarter.
Over at Anarchy, they have not defeated East Geelong since 2019. The Roos 6-10-46 now trail the Eagles 11-8-74. So East Geelong and North Geelong looking as the two that I reckon are going to be playing off for the big prize this year, but I'm sure there's 10 other clubs that will text me in the next 5 minutes to prove me wrong.
Good battle out at Bannockburn too. They're 4 points ahead of the Belmont Lions. We reckon that was going to be close, and it certainly is. And it's close in the middle of the ground, but it's Werribee Centrals who win it. They come out very quickly through Crennan, kicks into the forward line, but the pressure has been relieved by some skillful work by Tom Swenninson across to a McDonald, and they've relieved the pressure. McDonald kicks to a lone Cooper Vaughan in the middle of the ground as the three-quarter time siren goes, just as we tick over 30 minutes. 22-11, 143 North Geelong. Werribee Central 7-6, 48. There's plenty of goal kickers. Dale, tell us all about them.
Yes, Oscar Riccardi has 6, Mitch Abib 4, John Fazio 3, Parker, Purcell and Pask with 2, and 1 each to Jewel, Smith, Swennerson, and that is Tom. And for the Werribee side, 3 to Kerr, 1 each to Paddy Arge, Vesti, and that's Regan, Saliba and Prismal. So we'll take a short break and come back with some scores from around the grounds. You're listening to 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
commentary, and over to Alex Tagani, who's going to tell us a little bit about a pretty handy performance by North Geelong to lead by 95 points at three-quarter time.
Well, you boys, even though I'm the young one on the panel, I'll sound like a broken record because I just have to keep repeating the quarter-time score in case anyone's just joining our coverage now. North Geelong, they were 62 zip at one point and finished off that first quarter 11-4-70 to Werribee's 1-1-7. And, of course, Werribee's one goal came from a set shot there. That just goes to show the difference. North Geelong didn't play finals last year. Werribee did. But it's North Geelong who have recruited. It's North Geelong that are fitter. It's North Geelong that can pull off that precision kick, that can do that extra uncontested mark on the wing. And the scariest part of all this, gentlemen, is blokes like Paramanov, Paddy Cleary, Noah Penny playing in the reserves today, Blake Miller. They've got all this top talent that need to come back into this side. Derek Fitzsimmons, he played a game last season. He might even come back in the side the way they're rolling.
He could play a bit.
Probably not, although he does want that 10th club best and fairest, I'm sure. But no, Werribee on the other side, look, it was well documented this season. They had a 0-4 start. It was going to be very difficult for them to climb back in. But they were 7th on the table entering today with a percentage of 128. That's how close those early losses were, and they were 4-1 since the month of April. But look, Crennan's been good, Daly's been good, McDonald, Culliver, they've played a part at times, post-quarter time, but this isn't a side that will play finals this year. As harsh as it sounds, I've got the utmost respect for Reece Prismal and everything, but what they were lacking in the first 4 games was a tall target up forward, and you can't even use that excuse today because they haven't even got it forward until the game was already out of reach. So that's my analysis of the two teams. But on that third quarter, if there was a medal for the best player in that term, I'd actually give it to Rory Desnoy. I thought he really lifted his game after half-time, and fair to say this has been a great transition to him back into senior footy.
Yes, he's one of many, many very good players. I suppose we should point out, been really impressed with the work that Michael Culliver does in the opposition. They've been soundly beaten right around the ground, but he's one player who can really hold his head high for the opposition. They haven't got too much to be excited about it, but he and probably Tyler Crennan have done a pretty good job for the Werribee side, and also Kerr has been a pretty lively forward for them in patches through the afternoon, but there's not much else to hang their hat on, as you can see. 95 points down at three-quarter time. I guess there's not a lot of joy for your team. Dale Smith, you're about to get us going, but for some reason the umpire is waiting, and he seemed to be focused on what's happening on the far side of the ground. And
well, bloke's just not over the fence, but
just one bloke.
Three-quarter time scores. Bannockburn, they've got them up by 4 points, but you said they've kicked another goal, Rob, did you?
Yeah, I had them 10 points up just a second ago.
That's right. The last score I heard there. So we've got Anarchy on 46, East Geelong 74, Geelong West 57, Inverleigh 59. Now that could have changed also, and also the other game was Belpost still 78, leading Winchelsea 72, and Thompson comfortably 94 over 47 to Corio. So we'll get some updates as we go through that.
Bell might have kicked the first goal of the last quarter. That's back to 4 points. Inverleigh out by 8. And Winchelsea 17 points down over Belpost Hill. So those games still of some interest, but certainly Thompson and North Geelong are definite winners in GDFNL footy this afternoon.
And the big man Tom Davis is at full forward for North Geelong, right of screen, so expect a big goal celebration this last quarter, guys.
So Daly this time wins the ruck contest. Out the back goes to Carlton. Carlton on the road boot. He goes back into their half-forward line. Kirkhill was up in front, but actually so the umpire said he was a bit of a push there. I'm not too sure there was much involved in that. And a free kick will go back to Kirkhill. So he now asked to play on by the umpire. He goes long and high back towards the goal square. Going back was Sam Reynolds. Now there's another free kick being given.
McDonald,
this time it's going to go to
definitely held
Vesty,
by the jumper. Josh McDonald.
Josh McDonald it is too, sorry. And he is going to be awarded a free kick. He will do the left foot round the corner, being his natural side. And we'll start things off, I would think, positively for the Werribee side. So his kick is a good one, and he has got the first score of the last quarter. That moves Werribee to 8-6, trailing North Geelong on 22-11, and that's taken just 54 seconds. Morris Finance final quarter.
Alex, how much do you reckon Reece Pesman will be working on winning the quarter to avoid a 100-point defeat? It's only psychological, but it's not a good look, is it?
No. You remember 2 seasons ago, Rob, I think Werribee were 9-0, but then that back half of the season cost him a finals campaign. Something he's been big on the last 18 months is fitness to get the side from the start of the season all the way to the end. Now, when you're 0-4 to start this year, this isn't where you want to be, 3.5 quarters into your back 9 of the season. So there won't just be respect on the scoreboard. Something tells me there'll be a bit of home truths at training this week.
Yeah, well, they need to be told because they did get the wobbles for a period of time there where they looked very, very second rate. But Daly's won most hit outs and he's won another one. This one to Stevens. He runs out to centre wing, avoids a tackle. It's kick smothered though. It's Culliver again who's gets a quick kick forward to Carlton. Carlton hand passes out wide to Prismally. Hand passes a little bit further on there to Vesti. That's Fletcher Vesti. He kicks forward. The ball's in the pack. Kerr does a very good job, but intercepted by a very desperate O'Brien in defence there for North Geelong. His kick's also smothered. Comes back into the hot spot. Tom Swenninson runs on. Josh McDonald comes out. He kicked the last goal. Desperate to get another one. Gets it across to De Leon. He's tackled quickly. Dragged to the ground. Going nowhere. We'll have a ball up about 30 metres out from the Werribee goal. Directly in front, and they'll be desperate to get another one. The margin's been dropped back to 89 points. Quick hand pass there to O'Brien. He kicks back into space in the middle of the ground. First onto it is Purcell, but he fumbles. He can't get hold of it. Stevens drops the ball. Purcell wins it back again, but knocked out of his hands. Desnoy, who got good raps by Alex at 3/4 time. He wins the ball, but loses it again. Tyler Crennan comes in there. Quick hand pass. Comes out to Farrell. Hand pass across there, but intercepting for the Werribee side is Gilbert. He comes forward, kicks short to McDonald. McDonald's in the pocket now. He kicks long into the square. That is a magnificent kick, and I think that is through for a goal. He's second for the quarter. Werribee's 9th for the afternoon. We're in the final Morris Finance last quarter, 9-6-54, and North Geelong are 22-11-100. And 43, that's 9-6-60. Well, they've got 2 in a row, Alex. Can they mount something?
Well, one positive there is McDonald. I mentioned halfway through the second quarter he was winning the one-on-one on Zach Schwennison. But playing devil's advocate to that comment, Schwennison was out last week with food poisoning. So you don't know quite how fit Zach is, the North Geelong captain there. But no, credit to McDonald, credit to Crennan with the Shepherd, and if Werribee can kick 3 in a row like they did in the second quarter, there's a bit more respect on the board.
So the ball now comes down to Vaughan. Vaughan over the top to Swenninson. Swenninson on the left boot goes back into the middle of the ground. Terros was there. He couldn't trap the ball. He's got, I think that's Carlton trying to get those. It might be Stevens trying to zigzag in and out of traffic. Now it was Stevens. He's been held up now, and Jewell, the recipient of the free kick, he goes quickly into the forward line, and it was well left and judged there. Luke Parker runs onto it and takes the mark. He's just outside range, I would think, even at this stage of the game. Although he's going to line up and going to go back and try and kick the distance.
Expect a big crowd reaction. He's got about 10 current teammates on his left. One of them he's kicked it to. And
that's Mitchell, and he has taken the mark about 40 metres out from goal.
I was going to say, had he gone for goal, he would have had
the handball here. He's going to give the handball here. Now he goes back to Parker. And maybe should have had a shot himself. The ball goes in. That still comes up short. Taken by Robertson. Handballs back outside. Goes to Culliver. Culliver around the boundary line. Kicked it and hit the target. Coming through was Vesti. And he has seen a trap with the ball. And umpire has in quickly to take possession of it. We'll have a ball up, which will take place right on the forward 50. Still North Geelong's attacking end. So thrown up by the umpire. Daly wings that ball out, goes to Houlihan on the right boot, brings it back towards the centre wing, tapped a little bit further down the field, picked up again out there by O'Brien. He has taken over the boundary line and will be handing the ball back to the umpire for a throw in, centre wing far side of the ground.
It's a very good effort by Pattiage there, Alex, to be able to attack front on and not interfere, but stop his opponent from taking the mark. Kept the ball alive.
One of the more impressive Werribee players last week against Bannockburn. I know you guys were very impressed with his first half. So
yeah, he was very, very good, and he's been okay, but today in patches only. Boundary throw-in goes nowhere. I'm going to have a ball up now. in front of a centre wing, far side of the ground. Daly again wins it, but it comes out at the back of the pack to North Geelong, who effectively, and that should be a free kick to North Geelong's Purcell. The ball's gone over the back of the pack. It is Parker who gets it to Davis. Davis gets it back. I think that's Farrell, is it? Kicks across to Werribee, drops the mark.
And that player's still down.
He's still down in a little bit of pain after kicking that ball. Yeah, Terrace it was, yes, cleared himself up. So Michael Culliver has it in the goal square for Werribee, sees a lead, and that happens a lot. Culliver to Crennan and all the other way around. Crennan quickly gets it forward to Vesti out on the centre wing. He's looking for a lead down forward, and that is intercepted by Jasper George. He didn't take the mark, but he certainly kept the ball alive for his team, and he's probably won him the club a ball up on centre wing, far side of the ground. Werribee did have an open forward line, but he was able to get a hand into that, which was very, very important. Daly over the back of the pack. Terrace again to Vaughan, who's been really, really good this afternoon. Long hand pass inside to Riccardi. Riccardi to Jackson. What's his name? Sorry. Jewel. Jackson Jewel. Mental block. The umpire is screaming free kick, free kick. It's going to go to Mitchabib. And he's only 20 metres out directly in front. You go back and line up for an impressive amount. He must be heading towards his 5th, is he?
Correct.
Dale. And his club's 23rd. With 6.5 minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter. And Mitchabib has 4 already this afternoon. Been quite an impressive, hard-working forward. Not only kicking forward, but having a hand in a few others to set things up for his teammates. So it's Mitchabib being very, very precise despite the massive margin that's already on the scoreboard. I reckon he's aware he's going for number 5, and he's very, very happy he's got it. His team's 23rd, 7-minute mark. Morris Finance last quarter, 150 plays 60. We're back to where we were at three-quarter time, 90 points.
So North Geelong's run in the month of July, they're going to travel to the Belmont Lions, who are 2nd on the ladder. They're then going to play host to Belpost Hill, who are now 5th on the ladder. And that could change with another win over Winchelsea this afternoon. They then travel to East Geelong, who are 3rd on the table, and then play host to Inverleigh, who are 8th on the table, subject to change after the Geelong West game. So percentage needed, because there's every chance they might lose 1 or 2 games, but at the way they're going, they might win another 4.
Geelong West 1 point in front of Inverleigh, still a 28-point margin for Geelong West. 2 points. Belmont have hit the front over Bannockburn, so there's a couple of ripper games. Ball
from the goes into the half-forward line, picked up by Swennerson, got the handball outside. Teammates working pretty hard. I reckon that was a throw from where I sat. And I was on the wrong side of the pack there. Out to McDonald now of North Geelong. He goes back towards centre wing. Player out there by himself is Vaughan. He looks to go over the top. Long kick into their half-forward line. Goes back towards a bib. Actually, yes it is. It got over the back on the left boot. Recovers and goes into their forward line. Coming out. Did nicely. That was Robinson. He got the handball back inside. Put his teammate under a bit of pressure. Back to a bib. Lines up. Goes at goal. And across the face through for a minor score. His first mistake of the afternoon there for Mitchabib. 23-13 North Geelong, 9-6 Werribee. Ball brought back in by Donnan, goes out to the back pocket, and it's with the hands of Culliver now. So he has time to run and carry the ball, goes out towards Daly. Pass did nicely, brought the ball to ground. Handball was going back inside. Ends up out there with Porter. Got the handball further into Culliver. Into the middle of the ground they go once again, and it's into now Gilbert trying to work hard at ground level. North Geelong now get some numbers around, and they've been able to hold things up. Umpire will ask for the ball back, and it's going to be another throw-up to take place, far side of the ground. Daly to the running player outside, and that was nice to McLennan, and he goes into their half-forward line. Goes out the back to Swennerson. Swennerson now, Zach loads up and he goes back towards centre wing. Desnoy in perfect position, takes the mark. He will just go back now. Option inside. Pass inside to Ronnie McDonald on the left boot into their half-forward line. And unfortunately, a player coming at the ball was too far back. Culliver intercepts the mark and goes across the ground. Finds McDonald now. He picks the ball up on the left boot. Little time and space. Got the pressure as he kicked the ball. Goes down the field. Goes towards Houlihan. Trapped the ball. Tackled by Jackson Jewell. And held up. Umpire said that is holding the ball. Free kick going to Jewel, and he is on North Geelong's defensive side of centre wing. So Jewel now looks back inside, coming up at the ball. Was it Bibb? Didn't take the mark. Ball went back towards Carlton. Handball's back outside. Donnan got the handball further to Crennan. Crennan now. Handball's over the top. Again, picked up by Prismal. That was a good look. He saw a play at the side of his eye, and he got that to Vesti. Goes back inside, and some good movement of the ball there. And the mark has been taken there by Gilbert, I think. And he is just inside the forward 50. And he's got a chance to kick his first goal of the afternoon. And the 10th goal for the Werribee side. Off just a couple of steps. He's got plenty of height but won't have the distance or the accuracy. Ball is spoiled and has been pushed through for a minor score, which will see them move now Werribee to 9-7. And North Geelong on 23-13. We have gone 12 minutes. Morris Finance final quarter scoreboard.
So the Centurions run the next month. They're going to play host to both reigning grand finalists, Thompson, then Belmont. Then they travel to Belpost Hill. Then they host East Geelong. Then they travel to Inverleigh. So not looking good signs for the reigning semi-finalists from last year.
They've got to get back to last week's form if they're going to come out of that with a positive ledger, I think, Alex. Hand pass there for Werribee to the hard-working Culliver. He kicks into the pocket, looking for the equally hard-working Josh McDonald, who's had a great last quarter, kicked 2 already, but I think his whole game has been pretty good. He's one of the few Werribee players who can go home feeling good about himself despite the team's pretty ordinary performance collectively. Waiting for the throw in, and it comes now. Gilbert wins the ball to Carlton. His quick left foot snap is out of bounds on the full. North Geelong will win the ball back in the back pocket and set up another challenge. They've got winners all over the ground, so they can kick the ball around the ground with confidence. It's going to go to someone feeling pretty good about themselves. And there is one of them right there in Brockenshire. He kicks across the ground to O'Brien, who's been a very, very good defender. That is a delightful kick to the running Swenninson, I think it is. He kicks, that's poorly though. Werribee have taken the mark in defence. I think that's Vesti, the younger of the two, or the more slender of the two, Fletcher. He kicks back into the forward line, but that is a poor kick because it's gone straight back to North Geelong. Kicked across the ground. Riccardi takes the ball in the centre of the ground. He's away immediately. Long right foot kick looking for the leading Davis, but coming out in front of him is Werribee Central's defender in Robinson. He kicks back looking for Porter. That was actually
Beautiful
incorrect
tackle.
disposal. Great tackle. It's Charlie Smith wins the ball. He kicks the ball to the leading Fazio, and he's taken the mark. 45 metres out directly in front on a hard lead. Took it on the chest full of running. He sees a free man in the forward pocket, kicks it across, and taking the mark over there is Purcell. And he'll go back and have a shot at goal.
Henderson, this one. Got the
Oh, is it?
Oh, Henderson with the
Oh, it
orange
is
boots.
30, yes.
Got the orange
Henderson
boots,
coming
mate.
down from the back line to take the mark. So he'll have his first shot at goal for the afternoon, I'd reckon.
It's a goal-kicking party at this point if he can convert truly.
So Henderson back, he's about 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle. Leaves the foot pretty. Umpire moving to the right. But Kaya Henderson and his team are happy. That's another goal to the North Geelong side. They're 25th for the afternoon. They lead by plenty, and we have gone 15 minutes into the Morris Finance final quarter. It is 157 to 61, pushing harder towards that 100-point margin.
27-minute mark at Geelong West Oval. Geelong West Giants 11-9-75. Inverleigh Hawks just kicked a late goal then, 11-16-82. So
7 points.
7-point margin. But remember what I said at the start of the day, Geelong West have not conceded 100 points this year. And even if they lose this game, I reckon that'll still be the case.
So back with the umpire in the middle of the ground once again. As we said, we've gone just over 15 minutes. Ball thrown up. Again, Ruckman go at it. And it's done nicely from there from Gilbert. Tried to go after his own ball. Desnoy got in his road. De Leon got in his road. Kicked off the ground there by Henderson. Goes into the half-forward line. But coming across and reading it nicely was Michael Culliver. Culliver now picks up, transfers play across the ground. We'll go outside and we'll find Vesti. Wanted to give the handball off, but decided to go with a kick. And it's found Crennan. He continues to run on centre wing. Maybe put himself in a little bit of pressure. Kick went along the boundary line. And it's landed just inside the field of play and has rolled over. We will have a throw-in which will take place outside forward 50, their attacking end. And we're talking Werribee's attacking end of the ground. So ball now with the umpire and thrown back in. Front position taken by Werribee. Ball comes back and a very quick umpiring decision to call for a ball up, which was good. Thrown up by the umpire once again. Again, bigger player wins out there, and Gilbert got the ball back towards ground. Desnoy kicked the ball off the ground, went into the middle, picked up out there. Were nicely by Purcell, got the handball away. His teammate put under pressure. Couldn't make clean contact with the ball. Kirker, good chase, will be rewarded with the free kick. Goes across the ground. We'll have Donnan there. So Donnan now kicks the ball into their half-forward line. Out towards Vesti. Leads in the race for the ball. Tackled, brought to ground, got up, got out of that tackle. Now delivers the ball along into their forward line. Mark not taken out there. McDonald's up on the left boot. Can get his third of the quarter and will do so. Josh McDonald, 3 for the quarter, the 10th for Werribee. They move to 10-7, 24-13 for North Geelong, and we have gone 17 and a half minutes. Final quarter.
Got a few other thrillers there. 29-minute mark. It's still Bannockburn 11-13-79, leading Belmont Lions 11-9-75. But as mentioned, Belmont Lions only have 11 players from last year's grand final side available today. So I reckon Bannockburn just making the most out of these conditions.
Most definitely. Certainly got some great games throughout this very, very good competition. It's evened up clearly really well. And when you're considering now we're just over the halfway mark and we're talking about teams 8th and 9th on the ladder still pushing to make the finals, that's a perfect scenario for the comp. So in the middle, Gilbert is beaten that time in the ruck. The ball wanders forward, but it's he who follows up and gets his own ball back to Culliver. Culliver back to Donnan. He kicks across the ground, and Fletcher Vesti marks. On the point of the square, far side of the ground, half-back flank, he kicks down the line and finds Houlihan. Houlihan hand passes inside to Culliver, who's run all the way back from centre half-back. He kicks into the forward line, but misses his target, which was Kerr. And it is Henderson for North Geelong in defence who has taken the mark. Snuck down and kicked the goal a little bit earlier. Looking for Swenninson. He can't get there before McDonald, but he tackles him immediately, drags him to the ground, and we have a ball up. About 30 metres out from North Geelong's goal, directly in front. They're working towards their 25th for the afternoon.
Yeah, do you want? Yep.
So the ball wobbles out the back of the pack. Werribee picked up, tackled immediately. We're going to have another ball up in almost exactly the same spot, directly out of goal. Just one quick kick away from another goal for North Geelong if they can get... for Werribee if they can get the boot to the ball. Comes out to Gibson. He gets across to McDonald. What would be the chances of him kick? Oh, it's crossed to the right. Very good snap from the little left footer in the forward pocket. His first miss for this quarter.
So 31-minute mark at Victoria Park. Bannockburn still 11-14-80. Belmont Lions with 2 late goals, 13-10-88.
Goodness gracious me, it's a funny game.
Oh.
Funny game indeed. Okay, well, that's going to make next week's game at Winders Reserve even more exciting if they can get up and win that and get their confidence well and truly up. McDonald for North Geelong this time runs over the ball. Hand pass comes out to Culliver on the left foot. That is a delightful pass, and he finds Vesti within kicking distance, just a little bit straighter than a 45-degree angle. But he'll go back and line up for the Central's 11th goal for the afternoon. And in normal circumstances, 11-8 would be a pretty handy score at North Geelong, but unfortunately the Magpies have got 24 goals, 13. So Vesti comes in looking for the 11th for his team this afternoon. He's been a handy player without being dominant like he was last week. Around to the right, and the ball went exactly where he ran. North Geelong punch it away. Or that's a very, very good tackle in the last line of defence by Werribee, and the man's hurt himself. That's McDonald in laying that tackle. Ball waddles on. Houlihan gets a quick kick at goal, but it's gone through for one behind only. And McDonald is writhing in pain in the forward pocket after that tackle. Looks like he's twisted his ankle as he hit the ground, and he'll be heading for the interchange bench immediately. Ball comes back in. It's been marked there by Vaughan, but the umpire said go back and have it again.
Full time at West Oval, guys. Geelong West 11-10-76, defeated by the Inverleigh Hawks 11-16-82.
Well, that's a good round of footy. So it's Pask who comes out with the ball. That's a horrible kick. I don't know what he was looking for then. Couldn't hold the mark there. The big fella in Daly for Werribee. Ball hits the ground underneath it. Donnan is the last one up. The umpire said, let me ball it up. We're 20 and a half minutes into this Morris Finance last quarter. Daly gets it across to Carlton. He taps it a bit further on. Daly wins it back to Donnan. Over the back of the pack to McDonald, who's in some degree of discomfort with his ankle, but he gets a foot to the ball. Goes forward to Charlie Smith. He kicks inboard, but taking a very strong mark there is Houlihan for the Werribee side. He wheels around on the right foot. That's a nice little pass. And he finds the leading, I think that's Stevens. Ooh. Charlie Smith lands on top of him a bit awkwardly. But it's Tyson Stevens. He'll be about 35, 40 metres out, almost directly in front for Werribee. He's got a chance to kick their 11th goal and put a little bit more respectability and, more importantly, get away from that 100-point margin. So it's Tyson Stevens now. He comes in, runs around to the right again, and just like the previous kick, that's exactly where the ball goes, and it'll be out of bounds on the full. North Geelong win possession back. So, Dale, we're coming up to the 22-minute mark of Morris Finance last quarter. The fizz has well and truly gone out of this contest as Swinnerton, that's Thomas, marks that kick in. Delightful kick down the line, but intercepted there by young Vesti. That's Fletcher. Players battling for the ball out there in the centre wing. The contest is still on despite the massive scoreboard margin. Players are still keen to impact on the contest in any way they possibly can. So Daly again, he wins it down, but pushing his way forward there is Houlihan for Werribee, forces it over the boundary line. We'll have a boundary throw in. Far side of the ground, this is the Keith Barclay Oval, Osborne Park, North Geelong. They lead 157-69, 23 minutes into the Morris Finance last quarter.
So ball be thrown back in, far side, centre wing. Daly flips the ball out the back. Crennan running past, missed the target, but has Kerr there. He left the ball behind, picked up by Smith of North Geelong into the hands of Swinnerton. Long kick back into their half-forward line. Mark wasn't taken out there by Taylor. Over the top was Fazio. Ball comes out the front, picked up by Jewell. Got the handball over the top to Fazio. He was tackled, brought to ground. Umpire said, dropping the ball. Not too sure whether he had prior opportunity there, but ball now back inside. Went to Culver. He put one of his balls down. High, said the umpire from the trailing umpire. And he will win a free kick. Goes out wide. Donnan has pushed up from behind. Chips the ball back into the middle. So moving the ball better now. Ball over the top to Crennan. Runs through the middle. Ball didn't come back to him. It's been intercepted there by Pass. Goes inside to Riccardi. Riccardi goes inside to Teros. Back to Riccardi. Runs to 50. Handballs over the top. Has a player in Purcell in space by himself. Turns, kicks a goal and is offline. 2 goals, 3 for Jordan Purcell, and 14th behind for North Geelong. They move to 24-14 and they lead Werribee on 10 goals, 9. We've gone almost 25 minutes. Culliver just waiting for the ball to come from behind the fence.
We're about to hit 37 minutes at Victoria Park in the last quarter, and it's still the Lions by 8 points.
So his ball now brought in by Culliver, straight up the middle of the ground. That's a great kick straight into the hands of Houlihan. He doesn't waste any time, plays on, goes out long, and the kick was also good. Into the hands now of Stevens. Again, they're going to transition the ball very nicely from one end to the other. Player by himself. Handball, Prismal goes back to Kerr. Put him under a little bit of pressure. Oh, good chase at this stage of the game, and by George, he has been able to bring Kerr down. and he's going to be rewarded with a free kick. Kicks the ball out to the back pocket, into the hands now of Swennerson. Might be a bit too far away there, Semi. Just push up the ground a little bit further. Short kick over the top will go to Henderson, and he's now got an option to go towards teammate further down the ground in Reynolds. So Reynolds will be either awarded the mark and or free kick. So just defensive side of centre wing. Plays on and goes down the boundary line, and Leon read that nicely, slipped in and took the mark. So he chips the ball back into the middle of the ground. Another dangerous kick, but it's well weighted. Ball into the hands now of Carlton. Across the ground, he's got a teammate in some space coming through. Read that. Beecroft did nicely. Actually would have paid the mark there.
Oh, that's a mark. Surely that's a mark. Yes, it is a mark.
Yeah, he did. It was a little bit confusing, but he's going to get a 50-metre penalty to go along with it there. And that will bring him just outside forward 50. So North Geelong still doing some attacking. Little chip pass goes in short, just over the top of Parker, into their back line again, coming through. Culliver picks the ball up, delivers the ball outside to Robinson. Robinson towards centre wing. Mark not taken out there, but Stevens goes back, picks the ball up, goes back to Houlihan, avoids the first player coming at him, and then kicks the ball back along the wing, goes looking for Taylor. Pask is there, sees the ball over the boundary line, and a throw-in will take place.
26 minutes, we're approaching the Morris Finance final quarter. And we have a boundary throw in not far from where we are sitting, and it's got rather chilly as the sun goes down over Osborne Park and the Keith Barclay Oval. Daly front position, scoops it over the back to Crennan. He can't get away as he falls to his feet. That's going to be a high tackle by Daly on Cooper Vaughan, who's played particularly well this afternoon for the North Geelong side. He chips down and finds Beecroft, who's been a very good defender as well.
Final scores at Victoria Park. Bannockburn 11-14-80. Belmont Lions with one final behind then 13-11-89. So 9-point win to the Lions. 39-minute final term.
Cooper Vaughan kicks long into the forward line, coming out and taking a very good mark. Not paid mark. Thought that was Robinson over the back of the
Look at
pack.
that.
And that is
Guess
a very,
who?
very unselfish bit of work there by Riccardi. You could have had a left foot snap quite easily, but he hand passed to the running Fazio, who slapped through his fourth for the afternoon. And North Geelong's 25th. 25 goals, 14, 164. And I think Werribee Centrals are something like that adds up to 69. So we're back to 95 points, which was the three-quarter time margin, if my memory is correct.
You look at all the scoring opportunities or set shots on goal Oscar Riccardi's had. You guys have commented on it. But then add all the goal assists like we just saw then. Oscar Riccardi's probably done that 7 or 8 times. And that just goes to show you what being in an AFL system can do for your game. And we're so fortunate now as a league to have multiple players in that position. From him, Jake Long, Dalhouse, Billy Smets. The list is endless.
Yeah. Very, very important.
Ball from the middle of the ground is going to be picked up
Dale
out there
Smith
by Vaughan. Ducks and weaves, got out of trouble. Over the side to Henderson. He came back and put himself in trouble, but he's got support out the back to Swennerson. And he goes long with the right boot into their half-forward line. A bit of weight there. Oh, our umpire said there was a push.
No.
I thought that was fair enough, that one. And
You
it's
thought
going
that
to be
was
back.
fair?
And
They're not going to call 50, but this will get them the 100-point barrier.
Oh dear, I thought that was just good body use, Dale, pushing the side, but
you were right
Anyway.
there, but the 50 then should have applied.
Yes, it should
he
have.
did throw it over the top of his head. And I must admit, he did put his hand up, but it was a wild throw back. I feel sorry for Donnan there, but that's the way it has rolled. And Purcell has 2 for the afternoon, can put his third on the board. So he comes in from about 30 metres out directly in front. He's pushed it across and through for another minor score. So 25-15 now to North Geelong, 10-9 to Werribee. Almost 30 minutes gone. Morris Finance, final quarter scoreboard.
So ball comes back in from Culliver, but it goes over the top, and here we go again.
How fitting would this be?
Oh, he's gone too far, the big left foot banana, but Fazio has taken the mark. At the point of the goal square almost, or around a little bit further, 45 degree, but he's only 10 metres out. He runs around, snaps across the body. He looks happy, and that is the 100-point margin and Fazio's 5th for the afternoon. Takes North Geelong to 26-15, 171 Werribee Central's 10-9, 69, 29 minutes, Morris Finance final quarter.
Didn't want to put the moz on him. That's why I said he was capable of kicking 5. I didn't say he'd kick 5.
You're
but
a wise man, Alex Tagani.
Just thought play it safe there. And I tell you, I'm not quite feeling sorry for Werribee. I'm feeling sorry for Inverleigh right now because 10 minutes ago they were 4th on the ladder, on the live ladder. But now that every other game other than this one has finished, they've slid back to 6th. So it goes to show you how close this competition is.
Oh, it is. It's fantastic. It's really, really good.
So top 5 will be North Geelong, Belmont, East Geelong, Thompson and Belpost Hill.
So the ball back in the middle of the ground, as we said. Daly, as the siren sounds to finalise things here this afternoon, and comfortable winners will be the North Geelong side. They started the game very, very well, and probably, to be fair, didn't let up at any stage during the 4 quarters, and that was one of the best 4-quarter performances I think I've seen in our season so far. And I'll just go through the goal kickers, and we'll take a short break and come back with some scores, final scores from around the ground, and we'll give our best player for the day. But Oscar Riccardi was 6, Mitch Habib and John Fazio both with 5. 2 each to Connor Pask, Jordan Purcell, Luke Parker, and then Jules Smith, Swennis Tom Henderson, all with 1. And for the Werribee side, 3 to McDonald and all in the last quarter, 3 to Kirker, majority of them in the first half, 1 each to Paddyarge, Vesti, Saliba, Prismal. So we'll take a short break, come back shortly. This is 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.
North Geelong with a home side on a big reunion day of 26-15, 171 to Werribee, 10-9, 69. And we've got a very difficult job of finding the best player on the ground, and one of the people who will be contending for that is being kind to come over and join us. Tommy Swenninson, welcome. Mate, how do you feel after a game like that? In your wildest expectations, you wouldn't have thought you could win by near 100 points, but what's it feel like?
Yeah, the first quarter took me by surprise, literally. I didn't know we had that in us, to be honest, but it's good. We show what we can do, and just got to keep going from there.
What have you done to change your game? Because I talked you up after about 5 rounds. You've been averaging mid-30s touches, but you've also been precise with your kicking. You're just setting up players. Like, North Geelong's just changed overnight. You guys have just become a powerhouse.
Yeah, it's good coaching.
Yep.
Very good coaching. Like, Rico's pulled me head in a bit, so thanks to him. And it just helps, like I say, every other time. Good teammates playing good footy around you, it definitely helps.
Tommy, one of the critics of a guy close to your club suggesting a lot of you younger players were just thriving on talent, not working hard enough off the ground to get yourselves prepared. You mentioned about Riccardi's got you to pull your head in a bit. Has it been across the group, have you all realised that you need to work harder if you want to be winners rather than just getting by on talent?
Yeah, well, we come together at the start of the year and named what main things we wanted to work on, and it was just being blue collar first at the footy, just all that hard stuff, which like North Geelong, that's what it's all about with us. So we're setting the standard there. I think we're first in contested possession, so we just keep doing that, and hopefully the points keep coming our way.
The other stuff's the fitness. Last year you used to fade. A lot of goals kicked in time on. You faded in last quarters. This year you've been better in those areas. Is it just a pure fitness thing? You personally, you're a midfielder. You know how fit you have to be. Have you worked harder yourself?
Yeah, well, I had a bit of a setback in pre-season before Christmas. I done my AC joint, so I missed a lot of that. But them boys have put in a lot of work. Like, Rico killed us pre-season, so it's obviously showing. Like, we can run our games now, which we, like you said, we did struggle in. So turning around good.
Top of the table clash, Belmont Lions. Are you excited? What's this week going to be like for the playing group?
Yeah, well, it's just another stepping stone for us. Like, it's a good challenge, and we're up for it. The vibe around the club's been absolutely elite, so you look forward to Tuesday and Thursday nights showing up to play footy. It's the best 2 hours of the week, so
last one, because I know Rico's calling you in, but I want you to just take as much. It's your 100th game, mate. What does this club mean to you, mate? Because it's past Players' Day. You got to spend it in a milestone. You played in the first quarter. You might never play like again. What does today mean to you, and what does that jumper mean to you?
Yeah, playing 100 games for your home club, like, just the names that have gone through this club, like Desi, me brothers, all them. Like, I can keep naming all day. Like, it's just it's a privilege and an honour to chuck this on every weekend.
Well, mate, it's a privilege watching you for 100 games, and I hope there's 100 more and 100 more after that.
Absolutely,
Thanks for your time, mate.
Good on you, Tommy. Best wishes.
Cheers, boys.
Good on you, mate.
Well,
Tommy Swenninson,
how good is that?
he will be certainly part of the discussions in the next little while as we look for the best player on the ground. But it was interesting, and probably many would know the person I've been talking to was close to the club and did say these boys would cut corners when they could, as a group, as individuals, but and fitness was a problem. They just couldn't run out games and couldn't run out quarters even. But now it seems to be one of their strengths that they finish games really, really well. And again today, they did win the last quarter again. It was only by 3 points or 2 points, but they got to a 98-point victory. So they won every quarter. They've been strong all through the games, and they do very much look like the premiership favourite.
They won 12 games in a row if you count the last 4 last year. Lost by a point. They hit the post twice in the dying stages last week, so they could easily be on a 14-game winning streak. And the last 2 times they've won more than 10 games in a row was 2002. They win the premiership by a point over Corio. 2013, and it was the one that got away from Bellpost Hill in that dynasty. So I'm not saying they are the absolute premiership favourites, but they're ticking all the boxes, and we see on Foxtel all the time the AFL clubs that are in that premiership window, or if we had a GD equivalent, I keep mentioning how good their back six was today.
Yeah.
It wasn't just their forwards that kicked all those multiple goals. Having Ben O'Brien, Jasper George, Zach Schwennerson playing behind the ball when he's had to play a decade on the ball, they're just ticking every box. And that run I wrote down, they're playing Belmont, Bellpost, East Geelong, Inverleigh. They could easily be the favourite in all 4 of those if they play what they played today.
Yeah, definitely. Dale, you've coached a lot and you watched a lot of this footy. The last 2 weeks, the quality of the footy in this competition has really excelled from what I've seen. That was the way they both sides win the odd time that Werribee did win the ball on one possession. It's just really good quality footy. It's improved out of sight. But North Geelong today, that was just absolute gold standard, some of that.
Yeah, it's one of the performances that you turn up, and if your coach is sitting back and watch a replay of it, they probably wouldn't have too much to pick out. And as I said, like even late in the game, when George tackled Kirk in the goal square, like there was no need for him to be even doing that sort of stuff. But that's their willingness to continue to run out games, and I think that's what a lot of coaches would thrive on, that sort of stuff, to see that the efforts that are being put in. Just the smaller moments in games of footy, even though you are miles in front and you could just take the foot off the pedal a little bit, their willingness to keep working today was exceptional. As you said, Werribee last week, and we spoke about it before the game, if they're going to play games of football, they need to bring their very best week in, week out, and they need to play it for a sustained period of time. But today, unfortunately, they weren't allowed to get into the game, and North Geelong, to their credit, probably obviously, I reckon Peter Riccardi would have watched that game last week and said, this is what they've been doing, and we need to be able to stop it. Maybe if we get on the front foot and get going early, which they did, it was a way to put them on the back foot and make them change maybe the way they played, maybe the way they thought about, maybe the risks that they have been taking, and that's been the difference here this afternoon. Every time they mounted a little bit of a challenge, it was North Geelong that got back late in the quarter and answered every challenge that they put up there.
Yeah. Well, Grubby always lets me do the votes first because I know nothing about it, so get your nonsense out of the way, so I'll go first. Strange as it may seem when you get beaten by 98 points, but I could not leave Michael Culliver out of the votes. I thought he was sensational for Werribee right across the 4 quarters. He did a lot to... Well, they were never in the game, but he was working hard to try and mount something. He worked in the midfield, back line, forward line. I thought he was sensational. Tom Swenninson, who we just spoke to, really was a powerhouse through the middle of the ground. I gave him 2 votes. But for what you mentioned just before, to kick 6 goals, 4 or 5, and probably have a direct hand in another half a dozen, Oscar Riccardi was the best on the ground for me.
There you go.
I gave 1 vote to Tommy Swenninson.
Yep.
He started the game well. His delivery of the ball is usually exceptional. If he gets 25 touches, 25 of them usually go straight to his teammates. He miscued a few today, but still his game through the middle was sensational. I gave my 2 votes to Mitch Abib. I don't think I've seen Mitch Abib play a more consistent game, and I'm not talking about his 5 goals, but his efforts, his marking today was good, his around the ground stuff was good, and also his tackling, which is sometimes not one of his biggest assets in working hard and bringing other position players down. So to Mitch Abib, I gave him 2 votes, and I agree. Oscar Riccardi, he's just a smooth moving footballer. If every club could have one of him in their side, they're just polish. And to be honest, those 4 points he kicked, a couple of them could have quite easily been goals, but he could have finished with 8 without any consideration whatsoever. But he is just a talent, no doubt.
I think same 3 names, but different order. I'm going 1 to Mitch Abib for the same reasons. If it was decided at quarter time, Tom Schwennison's best on ground by a country mile. But as the game went out, I just thought Oscar Riccardi's use with the footy. I mentioned it wasn't just those 10 shots on goal. It was getting as many players in that forward line as involved as possible. So well done to Schwennison on 100 games, but also well done on Oscar Riccardi, who we might have said in the pre-season, who's the player that's going to be the missing piece to get in the finals. Well, I think Oscar Riccardi could be the missing piece of their premiership puzzle. They might just skip the next 5 spots on the ladder and go straight to the top if they play like they did today. You
made a good point about Mitch Abib, and he was probably one of the ones I was alluding to, talking to Tommy about not working hard enough. I think for a bloke who's got the all-round footy talent, for him to be sitting at full forward in a time where the team was struggling, and he's got so much talent waiting for the ball to be fed to him, but now he's not only come up the ground, but he's working right into defence and clearly fitter and stronger and more confident. Like Tom said, I reckon Peter Riccardi's probably put the acid on these kids and say, well, how good do you think you are? How good do you want to be? This is what you have to do to get there. And they're following that lead. And, I agree, Mitch Abib's game was very, very polished. Well, they're very impressive, the Magpies. They're a lot better side than I thought they were. I saw them early in the year against Inverleah, and they sort of struggled to win that game. Only won by a couple of points. But they keep winning, and that's all you can do.
Exactly. Yeah, I had no doubt that they were a good side, but today's just shown me that the next level that they were prepared to go to, and they've taken it. And as I said, with those players they have got or could come back into that side, it's going to make things very interesting for Peter Riccardi at selection. And also, as I said, they all have to stay sound between now and then. And obviously, the only bloke that may be a bit sore from today might be Tommy Davis, but hopefully he did finish the game on the field. So, as I said, it's a pretty positive sign for them.
And all of Belmont's ruck stocks are injured, so we might just put 2 midfielders in the ruck next week.
Well,
now,
that's it.
You guys can run through the fixture for next week. I just want to quickly thank our sponsors, Morris Finance. The work that Nathan and Tiffany and do there has been exceptional. Barclays, I think it's been a lengthy partnership, but it's certainly been a great one for our league, and we're not stopping in any time soon. Elders Insurance, best of the business, what they do as well. Raiders Bingo, shout out to Russell and the whole team there. Kempy Engineering, well, we're getting clicks on the socials, because if you're not enjoying our Kempy Read the Play Play of the Day, then you might be a netball fan. You can enjoy our Kempy Read the Play 7-shooter challenge. Corio girls getting over 3,000 views the other night. The Hoffman Hotel, we just went through the votes there, and I think we'll have a very happy public in there. Based on today's results. Connectel, the Connectel goal of the day, I think we had about 21 nominees today as well, so fantastic there. P&R Food, shout out to Busey, does a beautiful job there. The Routley's Pie mark of the day, well, I think there were about 5 contenders just in that first quarter alone. Promoted trophies, they did a brilliant job putting together our interleague kit, so if you're a club in town looking for someone to do a special occasion jersey, go to Promote It. The Yards Hotel, the Como Hotel, and I want to finish off with 2 two sensational partnerships that we've continued for all these years. One is Music Workshop. Tyler, the star of the show, on the mic last week, absolutely killing it today. And even when some things don't go to plan on the audio-visual front, both Tyler and Brad, our other superstar, always remain calm, always remain cool, and give us the best coverage in local footy. And the other one, of course, is 94.7 The Pulse to Steely. And, of course, we got Rob, who's the sports editor of The Pulse. Everything that you guys have done for our Geelong community, we are very grateful, and we look forward to the next, 2.5 years of this current partnership. Now, round 10 is done and dusted. Round 11, where are we off to, guys?
Well, big question. You've got 1 versus 2, and you've got a past players day at Inverleigh and Anarchy.
Let's get 2 broadcast vans, and you press the remote, and you can flick between the two. Yeah. It's not a bad position to be in as a league, when I reckon 10 years ago you could have actually picked the game of the round before the season.
Yep.
Now, we're at a point where I think there's probably 2 games that you can have an idea who's going to win, and the other 4 could go either way each round.
So it's to be honest, it's probably another even round, because you've got Belpost, Sylvain, Bannockburn.
Big game.
Right. East Geelong and Giants, you would think that's probably mightn't be so.
But I will just give them a plug. They're going to play for the Shaka Cup, which is about men's mental health and all that. So great initiative there.
You got East Geelong taking on Winchelsea now. You probably think East Geelong because Winch, unfortunately, are starting games well but not finishing as well. You got Inverleigh and Anarchy, as we said. Both sides have played some good games in recent years. Belmont, North Geelong, and then the last one's Werribee Centrals versus Thompson. So any one of those games, 4 of them in recent times would have been definitely match of the round.
Well, you know what the get out of jail card is, so I can just ask Grubby tomorrow and we can promote it during the week.
Well, I think we've been looking at past players, but again, it'd probably be silly not to see 1 and 2 as well. So we might have to sit on that today.
We'll sit on it.
We'll have to sit on and have a discussion.
That just means we get more traffic on our socials. People are going to be refreshing the page the next 2 days, going, I wonder what Dale and Grubby have decided. It's going to be.
We'll let them work on it.
I'll have a look at that, but definitely, as I said, there's quite a number of games and. Anyway, we'll get through that and we'll work it out very quickly and early in the week.
So quickly round the grounds, Belmont Lions by 9 points over Anarchy. East Geelong by 28 over Anarchy. Inverleigh by 6 points over Geelong West. Belpost Hill comfortable winners in the end over Winchelsea by 16 points. Thompson won by 54 points over Coria, and we saw a massive 97-point win by North Geelong over Werribee here today. And for the ladder, that looks very interesting in that North Geelong on top, Belmont Lions level with them on points behind the percentage. And East Geelong, Thompson, Belpost Hill make up the top 5. Inverleigh just sitting outside now with Anarchy on 20 points, and then below them locked on 16 points is Bannockburn and Werribee. There's 9 teams that could play finals, gentlemen, still. No doubt about that.
That's good.
That's a good, healthy competition.
Usually by this stage, we're done and dusted.
Yep.
Locked away, so good.
It'll be interesting to see the Reece Prismal's coaching abilities tested this week to get those boys back to finals-type form, because they did not produce it today, Alex.
That's all right. I'll win next week. Yeah, that's how this competition works.
Anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen. It's a joy to be back in the box with you both. Lovely to be working on 94.7 The Pulse in partnership with the Geelong and District Football Netball League. We enjoy what we do together. We'll be back next week to do the same thing. For those of you hanging out for Elvis, he's not far away. Grant Pench will be bringing you the Elvis program at 5 o'clock. And thanks again, Steele. I really appreciate giving up your Saturday afternoon for us. Tyler and the gang at Music Workshop. Alex and Dale, thank you very much for your company. This is a 94.7 The Pulse, your home of local football.